did the thing, and we're good to go. And hell yeah. Hell yeah.
We're gonna get some good shit.
I love food. I love eating. Legend of the Golden Witch. Welcome to Rokenshima. The Golden Witch extends to you her heartfelt greetings. Before anything else, please make yourself at home. There is nothing to think too deeply about. Just be silent and take in the events in their entirety as they unfold. That is all that is asked of you. The difficulty level is standard. Let us at least begin on trodden road. Boy, whoops. Didn't do that shit. Whoopsie. That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. Oh, I didn't hit load.
You hit start again?
I hit start again.
I think that's such a cute way to, like, start the game, though. When they're like, you can perform witchcraft. As a way to explain, like, moving the time forward.
It's like the skip function.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Okay. Well, after we chased them out, no one said another word, because we all realized that we were fucking, like, heartless scumbag criminals.
Just remember, guys, we threw out this 9-year-old with possibly one of the killers.
Almost certain. Well, like, as far as we know, there was nobody else. It had to be one of them. So we definitely threw her out with the killers.
Yay!
Like, it feels like one of those things where, like, even if she was, like, the killer or was helping the killer somehow, just, like, restrain her.
She's literally 9 years old. Like,
if you put some tape over her mouth and tie her hands together, it's over. There's nothing she can realistically do.
She can't even laugh.
Yeah, the fuck? Anyways, these people are fucking crazy. Anyways, after we chased them out, no one said another word. We had exiled all the suspicious ones. Even though we'd known that there might have been some innocents among them, we had exiled them all the same. We had chased them out of paradise, but people didn't have to doubt each other. However, our motive for chasing them out had been suspicion of our fellow man, the worst kind of crime for a human. Is that the worst? Is that the worst one? I feel like there's...
What's the crime he said?
Suspicion of our fellow humans.
Oh.
And I'm like, that feels like there are definitely worse. Like murder? I just say it, man. If we had been able to accept the existence of a 19th person of the witch, then we might all be stalking. Holy shit. Then we all might still be talking face to face, trusting in each other. It's the ellipse. It's the double ellipses that threw me off, I think. In that instant, we had agreed to chase out all the suspicious people. But had that been the right thing to do? During the sunless silence, we could do nothing but be quietly tormented by that sin. Like, realistically, they had definitely killed people. Like, doing this means that people were going to die.
This is bad.
Yeah.
Like, this is definitely, like, the worst option they've ever taken.
Oh, yeah. They have definitively... Like, any deaths that happen among that group is... I mean, realistically, it is still the murderer's fault, quote-unquote, but, like, their deaths are on their hands.
Do you think it's on the kids' hands, or, like, Natsuhi only?
It's on Natsuhi and Jessica's hands.
Jessica?
I'm willing to throw, like Natsuhi almost assuredly, definitely 100%. Jessica also. Jessica was, like, encouraging it. George and Battler both seem like, don't know about this one. Don't know about this one, boys. And Natsuhi was facing the door, all seated all the way back on her sofa, not letting go of her rifle for even an instant. She'd probably spend the night staring at the door without a wink of sleep. George Aniki was gazing through a gap in the closed curtains by the window, looking down at the courtyard and the mansion that surrounded it. Whether he was checking to see if any suspicious shadows would become visible through the windows, or whether he was engaged in some deep internal conversation, I couldn't tell. I was thinking more about George, specifically.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. He is absolutely a coward. He displays absolutely no initiative.
Yeah.
He is the one who is most willing to let bad things happen around him without doing anything about it. He is the least likely to pursue any sort of lead. He is the one who feels like he is the most paralyzed by the situation, and like just in general, like he went along 100% with what his parents wanted for him, which he was a good fit for. I don't blame him for that. That's not like a failing or anything. But he also did that shit with like Maria, where like Battler was willing to step in and try to do something about it, but he was like, he's the one who sucked the energy out. He was like, no, we can't do that. Like, please respect their privacy as like, this is a family issue or something like that.
Oh, between Rosa and Maria.
Yeah. Like when we first got revealed that like Maria was getting beaten by Rosa or whatever. I don't know. It's just like the only time he seems to take initiative was with Shannon. And like that, even then, that was like that was bad. He should not have taken initiative there. Also, does our character ages in the profiles?
He is got to be like 20 something. He's
like early 20s, right? Like no older than 23.
They just mentioned like how many years older everyone is to each other, but I can't quite remember how many Georges.
Well,
I can look it up.
In the beginning, they all went through and like did their ages. Like I know Jessica and Battler are like basically the same age. Like Battler might be like
16, 17.
Slightly older. Yeah, like they're both like 17, 18. George, I think, is like I know he's older than 20. He's like 20 or older. He's not like a 19 or anything like that. And the fact that he's like working makes me feel like he's probably like 22 or 23, something like that.
I think at best he's like 20.
Isn't Shannon like 16, 17, 18?
I think Shannon is the same age as like around Jessica and Battler. Like in between them.
Like that's also like I didn't really think about it at the time because like it really does a good job of making you think that like yeah, he's like slightly older, but he's still in that same age range where it doesn't feel weird for them to be together. But like thinking about it like through that, it's like that's like he's that 23-year-old or 22-year-old who's like hitting on high schoolers, kind of, except it's worse.
I'm actually gonna just look this up.
Yeah, please do. Like the more I thought about George, the more I'm like, I don't like this guy. Like,
oh my god! Like, I just googled his name, and the first Reddit thread is "Why is George hated?"
Well, let me walk you through the process here.
Okay, so officially, it says that he is, according to the wiki, fandom wiki, he is 23.
That's the worst case scenario. I was like 22 is like that's pushing it, but like maybe. How old is Shannon?
Shannon is 16.
George, that's a 7-year age gap. You guys are too young for that. You were hitting on a high schooler. You proposed to a high schooler. This one, Shannon. Oh my god! I even remember that Shannon hadn't graduated because she was talking about her classes. Oh, George! George, no!
In my memory, I don't think I ever actually like really associated George being 23 because to me the cousins should like age-wise should be like pretty close to each other than Maria.
Yeah, so, but like he is like actually just significantly older.
I did not realize myself that he is like legit just like over 20 years old.
He is a college. He graduated college and is proposing to a high schooler.
He's a full-ass adult. Like, he could also make decisions and have opinions against his aunt. Battler and Jessica, they're still, like, kids. So, I don't blame them for, like, not, like, knocking against authority.
Hey, Eddie.
Yeah?
This is a little fucked up.
What?
What do you think the chances are that, like, it's more like, what do you think? Is it more likely that George is closer in age to Rosa than Shannon?
I don't think so.
How old is Rosa? Do we know? Can you look that up real quick?
I can. Let me see.
I'm assuming there's going to be no age-based spoilers. If there is, please don't tell me or anything like that. But like,
it doesn't. The fandom wiki seems to not actually know.
okay, well,
we know that she's the youngest, but
yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think there might be like a chance, because especially because it seems like Rosa had Maria like really, really young.
Mm-hmm.
And like she had gotten taken in by like some kind of guy who was like either unreliable or like it just seemed like she made like a really bad decision, like relationship decision that like seems to be the type of thing that happens when like you're young. That's the kind of mistake you make when you're young and don't have much experience.
So there's actually a Reddit thread that's like, hey, no one actually ever got confirmed what Rose's age is. What do we think it is based off of like the clues?
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that she's like in her early 30s.
Okay, so not quite.
No, the age gap between Rosa and George is still bigger
than George and Shannon. Okay, but it's not that much bigger.
Oh my gosh, how much of Umineko exactly? I know you said today you haven't stopped thinking about Umineko. I didn't realize how much you were thinking about it.
Well, this whole bit about the age gaps is something that I was only coming up with now just because like I have the information. But I was thinking about it and I was like, yeah, wait, she is in high school. How old is George again? And then I didn't look it up because like obviously I'm not going to look up anything relating to Umineko right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, he graduated college. He's working, right? So he's like 22? Maybe 21? And I'm like, that's not... Like, if Shannon's like 18, 17, 18, like, okay. And he's like, if Shannon's like 18 and he's 21, yeah, okay. Sure. Fine. No, they are on the opposite ends of that age gap that would have made it acceptable. They are on I was like, what if maybe they're old? But yeah, mostly I was just thinking over the events of the story, and I'm just like, as much as like I think George has like a decent personality, and like in a social situation he tends to be pretty fine and affable, and like I don't think I would ever have a problem if I met him. I feel like if I got to know George, I would start to become more and more like kind of like
annoyed.
Like, he's a coward. He's a moral coward. He doesn't take initiative. He doesn't do he makes bad decisions. He's a well, maybe not make bad decisions, but he doesn't think through the decisions that he needs to, and he overthinks things that he should be taking action against to avoid taking action.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't really thought about George that much.
It's mostly because like he's so normal. It's like he's like an anomaly to me, so he like draws my interest. It's like how I'm like he's the chameleon, but like in reality, Nanjo is like actually the chameleon of the cast.
Are you sure it's not because you were previously following like Umineko fans who would just meme on George?
I mean, that's a partially it, right? Like, but like the memes were always like he's like the most normal one or whatever. Like he's like turbo normal. But
turbo
anyways,
normal.
Yeah. Jessica was sitting at an angle on the sofa next to a Nazi with a dead expression on her face. Every once in a while, as though she had just remembered something, she would take out the inhaler she'd used during her asthma attack and stick it in her mouth. That's too often? That feels too much. I had a bronchodilator because I had restrictive airway disease when I was a kid. And like it's not like as bad as an asthma attack. Like it's not as like you don't really have attacks so much as like when you exert yourself, like you start to have asthma like symptoms. So like I don't have the like some of the randomness that like say Jessica would go through or whatever. Yo, you don't need more than a puff of that, and that's like a powerful steroid and like stimulant. Jessica is like stimming the shit out of herself. Like she is like taking shots of caffeine over and over again.
I think what's happening is that I don't think she's actually puffing it.
Oh, it's like a pacifier sort of thing. I just heard
like,
it from
just
Monkey, but apparently Jessica liked Canon Kun. Congratulations,
really?
Battler. I never would have guessed. Seems it was such a vague thing that she hadn't realized it herself.
Oh.
No, I feel like it had come up at least once, and it was like you had that eyebrow raise. You know, it's the kind of thing that other people tend to spot before the person in question realizes it. In that case, she might have first learned of her. Hey, Thomas. She might have first learned of her feelings when the person she liked died. It's truly pitiful and sad. Come to think of it, Canon could have been the one to hand her that inhaler. Maybe she was remembering that. As for me, I was fishing around Grandfather's studies, thinking I'd research the meaning of the magic circle in the second sheet of the letter. Even though we were shut up here in a defensive position, my rebellious nature made me want to keep to the offense, find some key to all this. That's not a terrible idea. We have plenty of time until tomorrow morning anyways. Hope you know English, boy. I don't think most of these books are in Japanese. No matter what I do at that time, no one can find fault with it. No one else showed that much interest in the magic circle. Its meaning was unknown. Once we understood it, we were sure to find some message that would cause us unnecessary anguish. Yeah, it really does feel like they've all been kind of like... They've been beaten to a point of like numb inaction, except for Battler.
Yep. Definitely.
I also agreed about this. However, I still couldn't let it go, so I killed time pretending to research it. You sure are enthusiastic. Anything that might serve as a hint? Not a thing. First test of even finding a book written in Japanese. Okay, so we can't read English. So this is really just pointless, huh?
He's trying. I like that like, in terms of the height comparison, like, the sprites do be, like, taller.
Yeah. Like, Battler is, like, a tall guy. I don't think there's anyone in the cast except for, like, Rudolph, maybe, who's, like, taller than him. Like, Kinzo.
Genji, maybe.
Yeah, Genji, maybe.
Oh, no, wait, not Genji, but what's his fucking face? The one we hate.
Goda. The one with the chin.
Yeah.
Aren't you tired, Battler-kun?
I kind of
Don't you
forgot
just
he
want to go
existed.
sleep? Yeah, he's a little bit out of the way. I thought more about Goda, and while he is a dickbag and I do hate him, I don't envy the position he's in. Because, like, as a servant, like, he is definitely separate from all, like, the Ushironomiyas. Ushironomiyas. Yeah. And, like, he doesn't have, like, the same bond that other servants do, and that's partially his own fault, but it's also partially because he's new. And, like, that does feel like a kind of a fucked up situation to be in. That's very isolating. Still, he's a dickbag, though. I do not like it, but...
No, you got points.
You should take a rest while someone else is staying awake for you. And Nazi may be saying that she'll stay vigilant all night, but there's no way her body can handle that. Yeah, well, they definitely need to set up shifts. We should take turns sleeping. Yeah. And you sleep first, Aniki. I'm going to keep on with my little research at the drowsiness hits. That magic circle? Yeah, pretty much. We got plenty of time to kill. Thought it'd be interesting to find out what kind of message the great Beatrice-sama put in it. I wouldn't. Shut the fuck up, Jessica. Shut the fuck up. Keep that up and you'll get possessed by something weird. Go to hell. I get it. Your crush is dead. Shut up. Do something. You're
Jessica's
moping.
like, no, Battler, you're gonna start transforming into Kinzo.
Relax. I've been certified by Maria. That I'm utterly lacking any spiritual talent. Hey, remember that girl you tossed out? Remember? Were we too cruel to Maria? Yes! Yes, you were! Jessica, you mustn't think that now. Sorry, Natsuhi, you're also guilty. You and your daughter should both be guilty. I know you want to spare your daughter from that, but Mom, Maria wasn't involved in the killer's someone totally different. They're obviously going to go for the easy targets. If she's killed because of this, then we just let her die.
Targets.
Correct. A gloomy silence settled once again. It looked like Jessica regretted that she had let her emotions take hold of her and snapped at Maria. Yes. She was always like that. Always acted tough, went too far and regretted it later. I understand how you feel, but Maria was in close contact with the culprit, and what's worse, she seemed to be taking their side with her endless series of mystifying statements. I am relieved that we chased her out. Natsuhi!
It makes me wonder, like, what the other adults would have done in this situation.
Part of me wants to think that Ava would, like, also do the same thing, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, part of me is like, actually, I don't know. Because it really doesn't seem like Natsuhi really cares that much about children beyond, like, beyond Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she doesn't really care about, like, Battler or George or, like, Maria. Like, she's she's friendly to them and she's nice to them because, like, hey, they're not involved in all the shit that I'm going through. But, like, I don't think she, like, particularly likes them. Mom would probably be like, leave her in the Burger Mansion. It's called Tough Love.
Oh my god.
I don't know how Rosa would react to this. This seems like...
God. Can't even imagine it.
You remember how Battler kind of thwaps Maria every time she starts, like, being, like, really fucked up and, like, it's, like, kind of funny? She would be hitting her in a lot less funny of a way all the time.
I think Maria maybe would have, like, really shut the fuck up after, like, the second time, for real.
Yeah, well, because it's, like, part of this was, like, the whole thing, justification for it was, like, you know, now that Rose is dead, she's letting that out more.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty harsh on Natsuhi. Couldn't it have just been the nonsense of a 9-year-old girl? Even I thought I was being praised by saying that. I thought Maria was creepy on several occasions today and had doubted her true nature. When Maria had been chased out of this room, I couldn't deny that I had felt some relief. If that is the case, then tomorrow I will apologize for what I did. To who? Her mom is dead!
To anyone that's alive.
I'll apologize to God, I guess. I will take full responsibility for catching them out of this room. What, kill yourself? Guess this isn't something the rest of you have to worry about. I could feel a tragic determination in Natsuhi's words. To protect her own daughter, she would resolutely chase out the suspicious ones. And if a result, she had left to die those people who had the misfortune to be suspected, so be it. She was prepared to take full responsibility. Why does Maria have to keep saying stuff like that? She's bringing about her own ruin. I think that the reason Maria Chan adores witches and magic so much might be because of Auntie Rosa. Because of Auntie Rosa? What does she have to do with this? I think you must have realized it too, Battler. Maria Chan's real father ran off somewhere a long time ago. Although Auntie's trying to cover it up by saying he's on a foreign business trip. Is she been saying that?
Hey, Video Tree.
Hey, Video Tree. Has any more people died?
More than half of them are dead.
More than half are dead. And I'm guessing 3 people are about to die pretty soon. Cannon was the last one who died, yeah. Talking about Rosa-san's family has become kind of taboo in the Ushiromiya family. Well, who cares? They're dead! I think
she was just mentioning it.
But I also believe Maria-chan might have become her shackles and made that quite difficult. Yeah, see, Liz, Dayton's hard as a single mom. After all, she sometimes got incredibly emotional and took it all out of Maria-chan. Especially when that single mom beats her child.
Yeah, for some reason that doesn't really look good to suitors.
Yeah, agree with you there. Looked like Auntie Rosa was trying hard to like Maria.
Oh, God, trying hard to like Maria.
What was she though? Was she really? Which means that she didn't really like her. Fucking yeah! Bet she had some strong thoughts about Maria standing in the way of her getting remarried. I think that the emotional rejection from her mother must have left some deep scars in her young heart. Yeah, the next stanza of the epitaph says 3 people stuck in the stomach and they threw 4 people out of their secure room for being suspicious. The 3 servants and Maria. She was trying hard to like Maria, but we all agree she's essentially unlovable, right? I mean, listen, that's clearly, I don't think that's what they're saying, but, like, they're like, well, you know, it was really hard for her, and, like, there was some, but, like, also, like, fuck her. Like, I'll be the first to admit that, like, yeah, being a single mom is rough. Being a single mom who's, like, looking to remarry is rough, especially when you have a, like, and having a child who is, like, developmentally, like, challenged or different, or, like, neurodivergent or whatever can be tough sometimes. But, like, you can't ever hate your kid for that. Like, that's still your child. That should trump everything, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little naive there, but I really like that. Like, one of the things that I really appreciate about this game is, like, even the characters that do fucked up shit, or, like, the quote unquote, like, the ones who are, like, more fundamentally unlikable still have, like, no, there's, like, points for them. There's, like, reasons that they are, like, the way they are. It's not just, like, they're bad because...
evil.
Yeah, it's, like, Rosa doesn't love her kid and, like, beats her child, but, like, there are reasons why, like, even, like, understandable reasons why she feels that way. Even though, like, her ultimate actions are, like, it's, I don't think it's something that you can really forgive. Like, there are reasons. Anyways. So when she learned about this occult hobby from somewhere, she immersed herself in it so she could fill the holes in her heart. That's... Okay, I was following up to this, but it's just like any hobby, I guess. I guess she just hit upon occultism.
Hyperfixation.
Hey, thank you for the pet
pets.
Did you know? To Maria-chan, the image of a witch isn't negative at all. Remember yesterday at the beach when she showed us her notebook? Yeah, it's full of those fun-looking scribbles. Yesterday when we had doubted the witch down by the beach. Maria had gotten all riled up and started explaining about witches, and not one of the pages showed a picture of an ugly witch. They were all brightly colored, beautiful, cute witches who looked like they were having fun. They were basically magical girls.
Basically, it's just Madoka again.
There was absolutely nothing sinister about them, like a boy might have imagined. They were being adorned with beautiful dresses who could grant anyone's dream with their mysterious magic and who made everyone happy. You really fucked up. You chased a 9-year-old girl out into the fucking murder hole.
Yep.
I have so many channel points. Yeah.
Me too.
I should make some new redeems or something at some point. If that's a word.
I should make some new channel redeems.
Maybe.
Next time I come over.
Yeah. The sorrow of not being loved by her mother. Had Maria sought salvation from the witches as beings who could save her from the sorrow and make her happy? Someday a witch would come and, using her wonderful magic, would bring Maria happiness. Even though she believed that, as she grew older, she had to face reality as her fleeting dreams were sliced to ribbons one by one. If, in front of a girl like that, something claiming to be the witch of Rokunjima appeared, it whispered that she would take Maria to the Golden Land where Maria could be happy. I think it's time I confess what's in my heart.
My audio is blown out?
Oh no. Oh, well, it's because she's on her phone.
Oh, sorry. I mean, I could take out my headphones.
Nah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. You're doing fine.
Sorry, I don't have a computer.
Yeah, she is currently in like the post move, still setting everything up phase. I think it's time I confess what's in my heart. I did knowingly go after a 16-year-old as a 23-year-old man. I did propose to a high schooler. In the sweltering lands of Rokunjima, George Ushiromiya is dating a high schooler.
Brother in Christ.
Maybe throwing out Maria-chan, no Genji-san and the rest too, was probably the wrong thing to do. Yeah, dipshit! I do feel guilty. Since Jessica had been the one to face them and slam the door with words of rejection, her conscience must have been tormenting her a lot right now. Yes, the coward and the one who was like too emotional about her dead crush to stop like anything like these people from being forced out and essentially sentenced to death. Yeah, you should feel bad about that. Then how do you all explain that letter? No one could have said it there except for the 4 people standing behind me. I was able to see that quite clearly with my own eyes. If those 4 are innocent, how was that letter placed there in a locked room with 8 people in it? That's just it. When you put it that way, those 4 really do seem suspicious. But that's no goddamn good. Yeah, it's no goddamn good at all. No good? What is? Right. It might not be worth anything anymore, but let me flip over the chessboard again. What I mean is, one of those 4 really is the culprit. It makes no sense. Yeah, why would they do it when, like, they could be isolated as part of the 4, right? That's right. Wasn't setting the letter openly on the table the same as confessing that one of them was the culprit? You're right, that makes no sense. You were gonna do that, and you put it, like, on the crack of a door to make it look like someone had slipped it in from the outside. Yeah, they must have known they'd be suspected if they didn't make it look like the culprit was outside the room. That's it exactly. The culprit was one of those 4. Sending that letter right in the middle of the table would be both risky and meaningless. Really wish you had thought of this about 5 minutes ago, Battler. They could sleep in shifts with everyone in the same room so no one could do any more murders. Exactly. But putting aside whatever trick they used to set it there, if we assume that the culprit is someone other than those 4, in other words, so someone outside the room, then they had a lot to gain from that letter. Stop that, Battler-kun. Stop thinking all smart-like and just accept the fact that we did a horrible thing, but it was for the best.
I like that face of his.
Mm-hmm. I get the feeling this constipated face is going to be coming up more and more as time goes on. At this point, that issue is insignificant, and Nazi quickly guessed what I was getting at. No, maybe she had thought of it long before I had, and simply held her tongue. The culprit was outside the room, though once we shut ourselves up for a locked room where the culprit couldn't touch us, it was all over for him. That's right, same as the theory I proposed about how Grandfather disappeared from this room, isn't it? The theory that Grandfather left this room of his own accord, the culprit had used some tactic to lure him out, and Grandfather left of his own accord, then... Come to think of it, even Maria had said it when we found the scorpion magic circle on the doorknob to the study. Beatrice couldn't get through this door, but she might be able to induce someone to leave of their own accord. In that case, that would mean we fell for the culprit's trap completely, and sent out some new potential sacrifices. Ganchi and the rest aren't fools. If they desire to protect themselves, they would quickly think of the next safest place after this room. They are surely hiding themselves there. Hey, Nazi, I haven't answered the question. She herself realized that the culprit wasn't in that group. The letter could have easily been a trap. However, it wasn't worth the risk of calling back the people she had once thrown out. By Nazi, right now her greatest and only duty was to protect the children. Except for the one child that you threw out, you bitch! Is Maria the familiar? I don't know. Maybe. A few sacrifices may be an unfortunate necessity. Hey, Aunt Nazi. Let me ask something a little difficult, okay? If, by coincidence, Jessica had also been standing behind you at the time, would you have chased Jessica from the room too? Sure, there might have been a degree of cruelty to it, but as a mother, you thought you should protect your daughter no matter what. And it was out of that duty that you sent them out, fully aware that you'd eventually be held responsible for it. I'm not trying to criticize you for it or anything. I was just thinking about what a great mother Jessica has. You've been dealing with these incidents since the morning. You've been pulling all of us along the whole time without losing your composure. You've been confused the rest of us. Even every last one of us may have been in the culprit's grasp by now. I think that we all have to thank you. This is weird. This is a weird conclusion to come to after all this shit that they just talked about. This feels like a bit of a... Thank you. What you're trying to say is this, right? You want her to act as Maria's mother too? I always thought of Maria as a real little sister and adored her. And yet, a bunch of things happened. We got a bit confused, and I said a lot of mean things to her and hurt her. Mom, please, let's stay with Maria. No, with everyone. There is no culprit among us.
Among us.
Momokus. Why can't the culprit be behind all this? Just be the witch, Beatrice. Just stop doubting each other. And Nazi closed her eyes for a short while. Was she coping with her throbbing headache again, or was she thinking of something? Jessica, you are my precious daughter, the daughter I was finally blessed with the whole 12 years after I married my husband. I would become the worst kind of demon to protect you. There was some pretty strong language at the end there. She realized very well that there were only words, but even so, she was strongly resolved to protect her daughter, even if she had to become a demon. That was because she was tormented by guilt. The day had been so long, so many things had happened in one day, we were put under such pressure. I wonder if we have the right to read tomorrow the way we are now. There it is. Found it. It's this magic circle. Within the books I had been constantly flipping through, I finally found the same magic circle that had been drawn on the second letter of the sheet. Or second sheet of the letter. Georgianiki peered at it as well. The magic circle's name was the third magic circle of Mars. The Hebrew written on it was from the Old Testament, the Book of Psalms, Psalm 77, verse 13. What God is so great as our God? The meaning of the magic circle was discord. It agitates internal divisions and causes the enemy to bring about their own downfall. You fell for it! You fell for it, you stupid bitch!
Crazy that it doesn't look like Wumpus.
Could there be a more fitting way to describe our current situation and mental state? We couldn't help but be stunned into silence.
Hi, Barrel.
This letter was a trap? Speaking of Discord, hey, what's up? How'd they put it here? I just got the notification. What? What's up? What notification?
Welcome. Maybe the announcement.
Maybe. There wasn't anyone in this room except for us 8. Hello, Tomix. Tomix is a pretty good name. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good. Anyways, let's ignore how they got it here for now. The culprit was after one thing. They wanted to spread the seeds of doubt inside this impractical study and use us to throw the sacrificial sheep out. In that case, what they're after is the people who went out of the room. Mom, what should we do? Those four are in danger. Yeah, that doesn't really change anything from her perspective, though. Like, she knew they were in danger. Wasn't surprising that Aunt Nazi remained pleasantly silent. Even if Saul was a trap by the culprit, even if the four had been chased out of the room or in danger, it had nothing to do with the safety of the 4 people in here. There was no way to prove the innocence of the 4 people we had kicked out. If we're willing to let them die, we shouldn't leave this room no matter what. That way it's safest. Just then, all of a sudden, the piercing sound of a phone rang through the room. God damn it!
Uh-oh.
It was the antique extension phone that was set on Grandfather's study desk. It had started ringing right as we began this conversation. It's only natural we think of it as an SOS from the others we had kicked out. But then answered Nazi, he spoke. How can the telephone should be broken down and unusable? Who was the one who said the phone lines were down? Was it Genji?
I think so.
Or was it
I don't remember.
Ah, shit, you will die in 7 days.
Welcome, Bedward.
Hey, how we doing? That doesn't matter. That's Marie and the others calling for help. The problem with the phone's the culprit worked in the first place. This phone call is more than likely. That one sentence, the ring of the phone, which had sounded like a scream for help, started to sound like a ghastly summons from some unknown person. Aunt Nazi hesitated on whether to pick up this receiver. Battler, just fucking pick it up!
Oh my god, seriously.
Let's take it, Auntie. The phone's might be fixed for some reason. Could be an urgent call from Maria-chan and the rest. That's right, and on the slight chance that this is a call from the killer, bring it on. Let him friggin' talk. It's just a phone call. No matter what they babble through the receiver, it's not like it's gonna hurt you. I don't know. They've been really fucking you up with just words up until now. If you won't pick it up, then I will. I will take it. Hello. I stretch out my hand to take the receiver, but Nazi, he picks it up first as if to say she had it under control. And to avoid us doing anything, like, she's like, anything that happens, I'm still staying in this room. And if I'm listening to it, I can say whatever I want it to say. Having this entire convo with the phone ringing this whole time, yeah.
I know. It drives you insane.
We all held our breath, trying to figure out who the person on the other end of the phone was, but after a while, Aunt Nazi just kept saying hello. A silent phone call? There's no way Maria and the others would do something so creepy. Which means this phone call might possibly really... Nazi stopped repeating hello and strained her ears, because she thought she heard something on the other end of the receiver. What was it? Huh? Is someone Singing? What do you mean singing? I don't know. Faintly from the other end of the telephone, I can hear someone singing. I wonder what it could be. Give it here for a sec. Hello? I half-forced the receiver from the stand up to anti-Nazi's hand and pressed it against my ear. At first, I didn't hear anything. Because I had been told about it beforehand, I noticed. Not in a quiet voice, but rather from far away from the receiver. Is this Maria? I could hear a girl singing a song. Yeah, that just sounds like Maria. The voice sort of sounded like Maria's, but that just made the situation more inexplicable. At the very least, the one who had made the phone call hadn't been Maria. For all, Maria was singing somewhere far away from the receiver. In that case, the one who made the phone call should have been Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, or Dr. Nancho, yet they weren't saying anything. Why? For what reason? Who is that person who made the phone call? Hey, hello, who is it? Answer me. Is that Maria singing? Answer me. What's going on? What is it? I don't know. All I can say is that this is probably a trap and Maria's in trouble. Aunt Nazi took the receiver again, but after calling it several more times, she realized she wasn't getting anywhere and hung it up. She then dialed quickly and clucked her tongue. Oh right, if the phones are back, we should be able to reach the police. Judging by her reaction, the outside line still wouldn't connect. She's sitting amongst the corpses singing? Yeah, probably. Let's go. Even if we know it might be a trap, we have to go. Yeah, absolutely. Jessica, Aunt Nazi, stay here. Nanaki and I tried to dash out. Aunt Nazi stopped us. Wait just a minute. I cannot let you go alone. I will go too. Jessica, you wait here. And then they get back, and Jessica is fucking dead. Aunt Nazi loses her mind and shoots herself.
The way that you said that so happily.
I was like, I see it. I can see it. The third eye is open. The smile
is crazy.
It's like synapses connecting. It's the pattern-seeking part of my brain seeing a pattern, being like, yeah, I found it. I found the pattern. And you'd rather have me be the only one left out? Not a chance. I'm coming too. Yeah, it might be better that way. The goal of the phone... Okay, the phone call was to split us up further. It wouldn't be a good idea to leave someone to watch this room. No time to argue. Let's all go. Take the shield. At the very least, you can use it to hit somebody, or, like, bash somebody, or, like, I don't know, protect yourself from, like, the fucking throwing shit that's coming at your way. I needed a weapon myself as well. I found a 3-pronged candelabra, which looked like it could be used for some strange ritual, and armed myself with it. The spikes it had to fit the candles on. Though they were short, it was almost like a 3-pronged spear. I should have took the shield, Battler. You're a big guy. You could have used that shit for some crazy stuff. 4 of us left the study. We left the study, which should have been the safest place inside the mansion. So we'd been lured out, despite the fact that we had barricaded ourselves in a safe, locked room. Perhaps we were even repeating exactly the same series of events that led to Grandfather disappearing from there.
Hey,
Where
Ray.
are you? Hey, Ray. Umineko stream. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Answer me. I listened closely, but didn't hear anything. The mansion was vast, and the sound of the rain was even noisier than before, as if the passing typhoon was making its last stand. Maria said she wanted to watch TV in the parlor, right? Let's try going downstairs. Yes, good idea. Everyone be mindful of your surroundings. Yeah. With that Nazi in the center, her rifle ready and her finger on the trigger, we moved in a group, our backs together, checking our surroundings in all directions. As though the power of that magic circle designed to spread discord had brought it all into being, we had split up, and furthermore had been dragged into dangerous territory. In other words, even now, in this very moment, we were just doing what the culprit wanted us to do. This was now a strange space where it wouldn't be odd for anything to suddenly occur. And Nazi nervously pointed the barrel of a gun at every dark spot and shadow. It felt like that motion was out of fear rather than caution. The rifle she held in her hands would surely be our trump card the killer was afraid of. You know, I've been thinking, it wouldn't be impossible to stick one of those ice picks into someone's chest, like a Karen's case, but splitting the skull and sticking them in the forehead like it was to my parents wouldn't be that easy. Think the culprit had that kind of animal strength? They probably have some kind of weapon, a device that can shoot or pound in those ice picks. That handle was too short to be driven in deeply by the human strength alone. Whatever the case was, they have enough force to break through a skull. It seems Kennon's wound even reached his lungs. Even if you see our opponent, do not step out in front. You must not move away from my back. Just how sinister and frightening this weapon was that could shoot these creepy ice picks. And could I do anything to combat it with just this candlestick in my hand? Should have grabbed the fucking shield! In the first murder, the culprit had probably assaulted 4 of our parents at once to discuss the inheritance problem in the dining hall. Also, we also had 4 people. Apparently, I wasn't the only person thinking this. Georgianiki, Jessica, and of course Aunt Nazi were stretching their senses to their utmost limit, in the highest and worst state of tension, slowly advancing one step and then another. Ah, what sinful people are we, in a world as terrifying as this, and we pushed Maria and the rest right into the middle of it, just because the seeds of doubt spread by that single letter. We finally reached the first floor. The parlor was just across the hall. We listened carefully. We could hear it faintly. Maria's eerie singing voice. She wasn't singing naturally, as if she was in a good mood. She was singing mechanically, as if she were in music class in school and had been ordered to sing. The song we was singing was just a common folk song, one that everyone has probably sung in school at one time or another. But why that, in the middle of the night, alone, with all her heart, over and over? Why? When we had just left the study, we called out in loud voices, asking Maria where she was. This time, no one said even a single word. We hid our breath in the sound of our footsteps and heightened all of our senses, and examined everywhere around us to a neurotic degree as we advanced each step. The door to the parlor was closed, but we could hear Maria's singing voice through it. When Nazi put her hand on the handle of the doorknob, Georgianiki stopped her. I'll open the door. Nazi, Badaka, ready your weapons. Alright, be careful. They might attack as soon as we open it. George Nissan, watch yourself. And then Nazi shoots a child.
No!
The classic Japanese folk song, The Murder of Most of My Family, took on a new and eerie undertones. Sure, okay then. Here we go. We tried to open it, but immediately felt the hard resistance of the lock. And Nazi took the bundle of keys from her pocket and gave them to George. There were about 10 keys. None of us had a clue which was which. Because of this, George had to fumble around loudly and test several of the keys. Since we had hidden our footsteps, prepared to make a surprise attack in the room, this felt almost fatal. The whole time, we could hear Maria's voice through the parlor, singing the same song over and over. It was like a broken, crazy cassette tape. In the morning, we had been in that room the whole time, all the frightening things that occurred outside that room, so we convinced ourselves that even if nowhere else could be trusted, that room alone was safe. That baseless impression was quickly falling apart. It unlocked. Alright, so 3 bodies. Thank you. George could. Jessica, move behind me. Auntie, let's all jump in at once and split up in different directions. If we stand around after opening that door, the ice specks might fly right through the center. I'm well aware. Ready? Actually, I kind of wish I could call it quits. I readied myself. They're gonna throw ice picks at me. We'll see how they like my candlestick. Should have grabbed the shield battler. You had a perfectly good shield right there. Go. And Natsuhiro and I rammed the door as we flew into the parlor, quickly splitting up left and right, searching the parlor for someone who might be waiting for us. But what our eyes landed upon was altogether outlandish scene. Yep, parlor was stained with blood. A place where we had spent almost the entire day, where we had pressed together oh, hey, it's Maria! Protect ourselves from some unknown mouse to become stained with fresh blood, to become an ocean of blood. On the floor lay Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, and Dr. Nanja, their entire bodies stained bright red with blood. I wonder if their things update immediately. They certainly do. Gouge the knee and kill. So he was the knee.
Spoilers.
Thigh and his face smashed. Gouge the stomach and kill. Gouge the leg and kill. Their entire body is stained bright red with blood. Every time you say Aunt Nazi, I hear Aunt Nazi. Oops. Is that... Have I been saying it like that?
Say it?
Aunt Nazi?
No.
Okay.
It's just close, I think.
Scared me a little bit, Ray. The only way we could identify them was by their clothes. That was because, that's right, this is how this whole tragedy started. Their faces were all mashed up like Dad's and the others in the storehouse, and you couldn't even tell where the eyes and noses were. It was as someone had vulgarly gobbled apart tomato pot stew wrapped in pie crust, all globby and slobby. It wasn't all. Their bodies had other wounds. There were those demon ice picks. They were in Genji-san's stomach, Dr. Nanjo's thigh, no, his knee. It'd be his knee. And the epitaph, sixth twilight was stomach, and the 7th twilight said it grabbed the knee. So after seeing one of them struck near Kumasawa Bachan's calf, I couldn't help but masochistically laughing. Yeah, of course it would be. On the 6th twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the 7th twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the 8th twilight, gouge the leg and kill. And even now, the 8th twilight... Now even the 8th twilight is over. And the next one, the 9th twilight, what was it again? Maria was there. Beatrice being like, okay, honey, now turn around and start singing. I get the feeling we're gonna see a fucking jump-scared Natsuhi CG here in a second. Or not Natsuhi, but a jump-scared Maria CG here in a second. She was facing the far wall, standing stock still, completely alone. Comes out like that sometimes. It's probably closer to the actual Japanese pronunciation. Maybe.
Natsuhi.
Natsuhi.
Blast her with the shotgun? Oh my god.
She's Blair Witching killer. Shoot that child.
After that whole conversation we just had.
Yeah. Standing in front of the wall singing her song over and over. There was nothing else in the room. Just the corpses of the 3 who had been brutally killed, and the receiver still off its hook, showing that this had been the room the call had come from. Was that Maria, her back to the scene, facing the wall, she kept on singing. We couldn't even scream at this bizarre scene. We could only stare shocked, our mouths open, hanging loosely open. So, if it's not Beatrice, if this is all some bullshit, then it's somehow Maria? But, like, there's no way. There's no way! Women's wrongs are off the chart. Incredible. Listen, I know a lot about killing kids. Kill the kid. Maria, Jessica called out to her, but Maria showed no reaction. Alone, she kept singing on and on. Yeah, let's blitz this bitch! We had come here trying to save Maria from some approaching danger, so now we found her. She should have been running up. We should have been running up to her, hugging her, joyous that she was safe. And yet, not one of us could do that. Everyone thought it, but they couldn't say it. After all, because that's right. It's crazy, and yet, no, it couldn't be. Maria, stop singing. Are you listening? At some point, Nazi and I pointed our weapons at Maria's back. Kill this kid! Kill this kid! Don't actually kill this kid. It was probably not her. But there was no reaction. She just kept singing. With candlesticks still ready, I ran up to her forcefully, no violently slammed my hand down on her shoulder, and I pulled on her shoulder, forcing her to turn around. Maria's small body was quickly pulled down and fell, and so unhappy about how her singing had been interrupted, she looked in my face with her usual expression. Even in this gruesome situation, she was still just like normal. What the hell is this? Who did this? Enough of this fucking bullshit! I threw the candlestick I had been holding against the wall. The violence of that reckless sound should have gone straight into Maria's heart, but her expression didn't change at all. Battler couldn't stop. Maria-chan, this time you should have seen the face of the culprit who killed these 3. Was the culprit the same Beatrice who gave you the letter? Yeah, Beatrice. Well, now we know for sure. There is a 19th person. Beatrice does exist. And Maria, I'm sure you'll tell me this at least. How did they kill these 3 people? What the hell did they do to them to kill them in such a brutal way? Dunno. How could you not know? It happened in this room! Are you trying to tell me that you were so absorbed in singing that song that you didn't even notice? Calm down, Battler-kun. Let's you and me have a chat, okay? George Anaki, as he always did, crouched down next to Maria so their eyes could meet, talked to her very kindly. Maria-chan, can you tell me why you were facing the wall and singing that song? Beatrice had to face the wall and keep singing for a long time! You just turn around and keep singing. Just sing your song, honey. Just sing your song, sweetie. It'll be over soon. I love how, like, even Beatrice is like, yeah, this would be fucked up to show a kid. You spin a little bit.
Spin a little bit as a treat.
So Beatrice came here then. Genji-san and the rest were still alive at that point, right? Yeah. We all came into this parlor together and sat down. Genji-san made sure to lock the door. It was locked when we got here, but how did Beatrice get into the parlor? Ooh. But Beatrice is a witch, so locks don't matter. She turned into butterflies and came through the cracks in the door. Rest with your goddamn jokes! Like how that happened? What are you going on about? Oh, it's not the time for this. You can't believe it. That's why I didn't want to say. Even if I tell you, you don't believe. But Beatrice is a witch. She can do anything with her strange magic. That's why Beatrice doesn't care as long as whether a door is locked or not. And then, after Beatrice appeared, what happened to everyone? Beatrice talked to us. She said grandfather's study was protected by a powerful force. She couldn't enter no matter what she did. So she told us she would select the city sacrifices from the 4 people in the parlor. They all begged her not to. Kumasawa-san kept saying, please, please don't. But Beatrice chose. And when she did, she said that I would be fine. Why do you think? Because I had the scorpion charm from the 5th circle of Mars, upon which Battler prayed for my safety and which he put his feelings into. Because of that power, Beatrice couldn't do anything to me, and me alone. So she decided to use the other 3 for the sacrifices. And then she said this to me. Come, face the wall and sing a song for me. That sounds a lot like Ava, a little bit. You will sing lots and lots of songs, no matter what happens, no matter what you hear, you won't 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 know. Come, let me hear many fun songs. So I was singing the whole time, over and over, so I didn't hear anything, didn't know anything. And then all of you came. You expect me to believe that crap? Don't take me for a moron. Oh no, she's taking.
We just heard her voice.
she is definitely taking you for a moron, my man. I'm sorry.
I believe her.
I believe her. Believe women. Then who will you suspect this time? Suspect me. Try killing me right here. Even if you do that, Beatrice won't stop existing. Now the 8th twilight is over and Beatrice will revive. I want her to walk through the fucking door. No, she fucking won't. I'm done with your shit. I've had enough to last me a lifetime. There's no such thing as witches. That crap won't work on me. I won't accept it. Beatrice doesn't exist. I'll never accept that she does. So I won't let her exist. I won't let her revive. The legend's a legend, and that's all it's ever gonna be. I won't accept something like that. Battler, stop. It's not like Maria killed them all and let them die. Beatrice came and Maria had to obey, unable to resist. Huh? Natsuhi? She isn't here. What? What? Mom, where'd she go? It's late, but I'm also sleepy, so I won't be chatting. Hey, Dagger, what's up?
Hey, Dagger.
Please enjoy anyways. She went out by herself just now. You reading a letter. Letter? That makes sense. The culprit's done with the 8th twilight, and it's all gone swimmingly for them. They might have left the letter so they could brag even more. We'd been so wrapped up in questioning Maria that we forgot to look for one. But even as well-armed as she was, why had she left the room all by herself in this dangerous mansion after reading it? Jessica tried to chase after her and tugged at the handle of the door, but it resisted strangely and wouldn't open. Mom! Mom! What's going on? Open! Open! It was only natural. Natsuhi had picked up the candlestick which Battler had thrown at the wall, which had fallen to the floor. She had then skillfully wedged it between the doorknobs and the double doors like a bolt, holding them closed. The intricate design of the candlestick meant it jammed well and formed a truly sturdy seal on the door. The tragic scream of a daughter for her mother. Did it reach Natsuhi's ears or not? Dead angle.
Hi, video
to have to leave. Have a nice night, everyone. I hope Beatrice shows up. God, I hope so.
Nobody else is allowed to leave.
Natsuhi might be dead, but she was no angle. God damn it. Natsuhi was alone in the entrance hall. It was the place where the portrait of Beatrice had been hung. Natsuhi threw down the final letter from Beatrice that she had read in the parlor, readied her rifle, and a voice that rang clear yelled in the massive space that was the entrance hall. Beatrice can be your angel or your devil. Mostly your devil. I don't think she's been an angel to too many people, other than Natsuhi. Not Natsuhi, but other than, like, Maria. I don't know why I'm getting that. I don't know why I'm mixing them up today. I'm Ushiromiya Natsu, representative of the Ushiromiya family. Show yourself, Golden Witch Beatrice. The entrance hall was dimly lit. Other than a faint light which shone in the center of the room, everything was blotted out by the jet black darkness. I'm going to stop for 2 seconds because if I continue, I think Beatrice is going to show up, and I need a drink before that happens. I will be right back.
We are. All right, everyone in chat, take your bets of what's going to happen right now. Those are good. I like that barrel.
That is gonna say, come on, man. Son of a bitch. He read me like a fucking book. They read me like a fucking book. I'm so fucking upset. Does that count? You know what? Yeah, it does. That's fine.
Whoa.
The entrance hall was dimly lit. Other than a faint light which shone in the center of the room, everything was blotted out by the jet black darkness. Yeah! In that darkness, butterflies glittering in gold squirmed, twinkled, and sneered. Natsu gave one more huge gulp, pointed the cold barrel of the gun at the gold butterflies. At last, you have shown yourself. Oh, the echoing. I still can't believe that something like you really existed. I will clarify twice. Once reading my comment, and then another time in response to what happens. That is the problem. Both I, bearing the title of representative to the Ushiromiya family, and you, claiming to have succeeded the head of the Ushiromiya family, are here right now. At this point, whether you are a witch or not is a trivial problem. Come, let us settle this. Which of us will truly succeed in the Ushiromiya family? Me, Ushiromiya Natsuhi, or you, Beatrice? Allow me to respectfully accept your request for a duel. He exists. Oh. Oh. Gold butterflies slowly formed a human shape which walked into the dim light. Natsuhi readied the rifle and glared. The witch raised her golden staff overhead and laughed. Natsuhi's fingers slowly squeezed the trigger. And... go! Father made an all-out dash to the door and rammed into it, crushing the candlestick which had been barring it, making it possible for a big gap to be opened in the door. He kept kicking the candlestick through that gap, and the door was finally released. At that time, they heard it. They had heard clearly, just once, the crisp sound of gunfire. Mom! Mom! Jessica-san, you mustn't run off by yourself. That was the sound of a gun just now. And Natsuhi just shot. They all have the reverb. They all have the reverb. At who? At the culprit. The noise had come from the entrance hall. The entrance hall looked like a stage. The heroine of a tragedy lying down and bathed in light. Arrayed in the beauty of that silence, and Natsuhi was face up, crumpled on the floor. Half crazed, Jessica ran up to Natsuhi. On her forehead, it was almost though a sparkling shard of pigeon's blood and ruby had been placed there. And, from a single stream of blood makeup passed by her eye and began to traverse her face. The faint smell of gunpowder smoke came from the barrel of the rifle that Aunt Natsuhi still grasped. Huh? Then she shot herself in the forehead? Why? Mom! 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 Well, I tell you what, all the kids are still alive, but They really did succeed in making sure the next generation of the Yoshiromiya family would be as fucked up as the old one.
Maybe even more.
Oh yeah, definitely more. I don't get it. Why didn't Natsu run away alone? Why did she shoot through her own forehead? Maria-chan, Natsu had read a letter before she left the room, right? There's no letter here. Damn it, what did she read? Why was she lured out here? I don't know. I don't know. Who cares about that? What the hell? Why suicide? Actually, Beatrice cast I'm rubber and you're glue. No, I'm rubber and you're a ballistics target. Much more deadly. Why did you leave me alone? Jessica clung to her mother's corpse, crying earnestly. I kind of thought she was done with that. Whoops. My body consumed by an anger I didn't know what to do with. I stole the rifle from Aunt Natsu's hand and spun around, pointing the barrel of the gun into the darkness at all sides, as though I were pointing a light from a lighthouse, trying to find a culprit. Georgianiki, even in this situation, was trying to calmly figure out something. But that effort might have been doomed to futility. And Maria alone was completely indifferent. Was she treating this as some kind of predetermined fate? No, that's not it. This is all a prelude to a wonderful world. The door to the Golden Land will finally open. On the 9th twilight, the witch revives, and none shall be left alive. On the 10th twilight, the journey ends, and you shall reach the home of the gold. It's all over now, Beatrice. Congratulations. Congratulations. So lead me to the Golden Land you told me of. Right now. Then all the dead will be resurrected, and the love they once possessed, will be relied. So in Maria's eyes, it's as though all of today's tragedies have never even happened. And all those days she spent deprived of love never happened either. Will you cut that out? What's so fun? What's to be congratulated? There were 18 people on this island. 14 are dead. Only the 4 of us are left. I'm definitely not gonna die. Until the night is over. No, until the typhoon passes and the seagulls gather again at the harbor, I'm definitely not gonna die. I'm gonna survive. I'm gonna survive, definitely. Give it up, Badler. Guns are meaningless against Beatrice. Besides, survival and everything else doesn't matter now because it's over. The journey has already ended. See? Look at the clock. Huh? The clock? Hearing those words, I looked at my wristwatch. Both hands were almost touching the top. Very soon it would be 12 a.m. In other words, 2400. When you think about it, isn't 2400 a straight time? It can be called 2400, it can also be called 0. It's the hour of the culmination of the previous day, and at the same time, it's hour 0 the next day begins. Beatrice! Maria suddenly called out happily and ran towards the darkness. It was almost as though Beatrice was somewhere in that darkness, and Maria was running up to her. Beatrice cast beam of lead pellet. As I looked down the barrel of the rifle, as Jessica hugged her mother's corpse, as Georgianiki stood there shocked, we gazed into the darkness. Our eyes fixed just in front of Beatrice's portrait. And there, Maria leapt into a hug, with the portrait's subject. You've got to be kidding me. This is ridiculous, impossible. This madness can't possibly be. Witches don't exist. I won't accept it. Things like you must not exist, because this is a human world. You think I could accept something that's not human? Never. I will never. I pulled hard on the rifle's lever. The cartridge was ejected, fell on the floor, and a new cartridge exploded. Then I sighted the witch down the barrel. Maria turned around. Still clinging to the golden witch, she turned around. Didn't I tell you it's meaningless? Mere lead bullets are meaningless against Beatrice. Humans are so stupid, aren't they? I won't accept the existence of witches. Who are you? Just try moving one step. Just try moving one finger. I'll blast you away. Oh. Why aren't they showing us Beatrice? They are. They are showing you Beatrice. She's right here. Should have blasted that kid. The laughter of the witch, no, the witches, was joined by a laughter of even the large clock in the hall. It was probably telling us that the time was 2400. It was a tone telling us that we had reached the culmination of this day, and a tone informing us that all had returned to nothing. The rules had specified the witch would win when the time ran out. Badler, Georgianiki-chan, and Jessica One-chan. The journey has ended, and the witch has revived, you see? And none shall be left alive. The witch shall praise the wise, and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all the golden land's gold. One resurrects all the dead people's souls. One even revives all the love they possessed. And one for the rich to eternally rest. Rest in peace, my beloved witch, Beatrice. Hooray!
Yay!
Midnight!
Are you happy?
Yeah! I need to see the sprite! Get ready to read fast. Oh boy!
Let's go. Witching hour.
I can't click. I tried clicking. It does nothing.
It just starts speeding through like 1,000 scenes at
pages,
once.
Notebook pages in a wine bottle. Bring the fade.
Yes, Thomas, actually.
God. Oh. The storm passed. The leadened clouds that had shrouded the island for so long began to clear away. Sunbeams shone through the rifts between the clouds. Yesterday's storm seemed like a lie. Just as someone had wished, the seagulls should return to the harbor once again, and they let their lively cries be heard. Afterwards, the police arrived and conducted an investigation of the scene. The corpses of the children, who were believed to have survived to the very end, were never found. However, from the body parts that were discovered from the unimaginably gruesome nature of the scene, the police were forced to conclude that the chance of survival for all the 18, including the children, was hopelessly dim. Everyone's dead! Congratulations!
Look at this awesome art.
Just how gruesome was the banquet of the witch? How beautiful was the Golden Land? Those tales were for them alone to tell amongst themselves. They have no tale for those who arrived the banquet had ended. One can only imagine what transpired during the course of those 2 days. However, the witch was fickle. She made a point of leaving behind this tale, which had no need to be told, and permitted it to spread. A few years later, a strange wine bottle, drifting on the waves of the quayside of a neighboring island, was received by a fisherman. Stuffed inside with tightly rolled notebook pages, crammed full of the edges with minuscule writing. Written there was this tale. It would be through these pages that the people would first come to know the nature of the mysterious and riddle-filled 2 days period that began on October 4th, 1986. The incident would later be referred to as the Rokenshima mass murder, so the 18 killings of Rokenshima, the did answer on the word on the Witch Legend serial murder case. Legend of the occult, savagely embellished the mysterious 2-day span with their own interpretations that spread far wide. However, not one of these interpretations arrived at the truth of the facts, and meanwhile the notebook pages tell the mysterious incident. They do not tell the truth behind it. In fact, perhaps not even the writer of the notebook knew the truth. Perhaps she may have decided to know. According to the witch's signature, her name was Ushiro Maria. Okay. Furthermore, as a result of an all-out police search, part of Maria's body was discovered. The piece of her jaw was the owner of a rare instance where the owner of a body part was able to be identified in the dental records. Many parts that could not be gruesome, whatever. Jaw had been separated from its body. The police considered a chance to surround be hopelessly dim, even though no other parts were found. Let's conclude this tale with the final paragraph of the notebook pages that Ushiro Maria left behind. By the time you read this, I will probably be dead, although there may or may not be a corpse. You who have read this, please uncover the truth. That is my only wish. Ushinomiya Maria. This very day, the truth of the Witch Legend serial murder case has not been brought to light.
You were warned.
Late first game, Legend of the Golden Result. Died. Chosen by the key of the Golden Land and sacrificed. Mm-hmm. Wow. Died in the second stake of Asmodeus, stake of Beelzebub, stake of Mammon, stake of Satan, stake of Lucifer, stake of Belgafor, stake of Leviathan. Revived in the twilight, she will finally open the door to the Golden Land. The witch praised her nobility and granted her the honor of a duel. Upon accepted the witch, prostrated herself and was invited to the Golden Land. Accepted the witch, prostrated herself and was invited to the Golden Land. Accepted the witch, prostrated herself, and was invited to the Golden Land. He denies the existence of the witch. Will she invite him to the Golden Land? The witch shall praise the wise and grant 4 treasures to the Golden Land. They choose to revive the souls of the dead and love they possess, because what they desire could not be gained from a mountain of gold, no matter how high. For George, his lost fiancé. For Jessica, his loved one. For Maria, the love of her mother. Rest in peace, Beatrice. May your slumber never be disturbed again. The widow is the Golden Witch Beatrice. Of the 18, none solved the widow of the golden time. All 18 died, and the single cried, none were left alive. Son of a bitch. I can't believe you don't see Beatrice until the second game. That's fucked.
Oh,
that's so
sorry.
evil. That's so...
I couldn't tell you.
Don't you... Sorry. Oh, sorry.
I couldn't tell you,
I know
obviously.
you could. Son of a bitch.
That's why I felt bad every time you were going crazy. I was like, chat, he doesn't know.
Man, Anjay is like... What a fucking crazy new elements added. The Golden Witch prepared a gift in commemoration for your recent sojourn. These new elements may be accessed from the title screen. Neat. Man, Anjay is like, yeah, every one of your family is members is dead. Every single one. Congratulations, you now run the Ushiromiya family. Tea Party.
Tea Party.
Tea Party. So we got
Tea Party.
Okay, Tea Party, episode 1. Hope you enjoyed some tea.
Yep.
I really appreciate that everyone is unanimous. Tea Party. Purgatorio. Oh, okay.
Yay.
Hey everyone, good job finishing Umineko no Naku Koro ni! Man, I still didn't have a clue what was going on when the story ended. So what just happened? Was that basically the bad ending where time runs out before the culprit can be exposed? Definitely a bad ending. The bad end though. I think so too. Beatrice's letter, which Maria-chan read on the first night, did tell us to advance to solve the riddle of the epitaph. We were also busy trying to protect ourselves and look for the culprit that we didn't even take a shot at it. Yes, that's true. Get away from him, Shannon! Get away! You can still be safe! Taxed enough already. If we'd actually tried to solve the riddle, I'm sure things would have ended differently. I wonder about that. Shannon-chan, you did a good job too! You don't have to be our waitress and serve tea. After all, this is a rat party. That's a group of people who've met a horrible fate. Let's all get along instead of lick each other's wounds. Oh, this... You know, I didn't miss this part badly. No. Speaking of horrible fate, Shannon beats the rest of us hand down, doesn't she? She was such a beautiful character, so I thought she'd definitely survive until the very end. But she was killed right at the very beginning, and on top of that, what was it? Half of her face was smashed, right? That's the worst! It was my role, so, there was no way around it. It's nothing for you to worry about. Judging by the final epilogue, even the lady and the others met with a considerably tragic end. It seems that way. I think I remember seeing this horrible picture. Kind of like my entire body was been eaten apart and dismembered. Whoa. Speaking of which, don't you think Kalankun's last moments were the coolest? Yeah, they were pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
even though we had the tables turned on them, it was a showdown with the culprit, right? A whole bunch of better than our confusing last moments. Though in the end, I was no match for her. Still, I think that Kalankun's death was a big hint. I mean, because of that, it became clear that a 19th person existed. Yes, at that time, everyone's location was obvious. It was impossible for anyone other than some unknown 19th person to kill Kanan-kun. I did say it was Beatrice from the beginning, over and over. I don't want to believe it, but it does prove that the culprit was a witch calling herself Beatrice. That's right. There was many strange things that happened which a human couldn't do. Only a witch could do things like Auntie Ava's locked room murder. A human couldn't do that. Not only is it clear that a 19th person exists, but it's also obvious that this person holds power that humans can't even imagine. In that case, I don't think that anything's wrong with calling that person Beatrice. We probably met at the very end. Met with the Golden Witch. That's why I keep telling you Beatrice exists!
She's so upset, bro.
It all went bad because no one ever believed. Even one of my witch friends says miracles won't happen if you don't believe. That's right. Beatrice-sama is generous to those who respect her. I feel as if, despite the fact that horrible incidents kept occurring one after the other, Maria-sama wasn't in danger from Beatrice-sama until the very end. Maria did believe in Beatrice from the very beginning. But then, did Kanan-kun and the others, how do you explain why they were all killed? Beatrice-sama probably had her reasons. The epitaph poem represented Beatrice-sama's resurrection ritual, then she needed many sacrifices. You must simply have been designated to be one of those. Shannon-chan, you met a horrible end. At the very least, I wish your death could have been more peaceful and pretty. Well, it's not like it hurt. Besides, as you can see right now, I'm perfectly fine, so don't worry. Shannon proved this by stroking your cheek, which had been crushed during the story, and everyone laughed out loud, smiling. It feels a bit weird saying this, but I was sure the story would be in the standard mystery genre. A little surprised to find out it's fantasy. After all, a story revolving around an inherited, set on a Western-style mansion shut away on an isolated island, I thought that was a classic formula for mysteries. It's not fantasy. Beatrice exists. Even during the tea party, she can't fucking catch a break.
Nope, she's so upset. Poor girl.
Yes, we know. Beatrice-sama does exist. I do think it's funny that none of the adults are here.
Yeah, fuck the adults, man.
That's right, Beatrice-sama does exist. I hate to admit it, but I got no choice, because it's obvious that anything person a witch was involved. She pulled off many things that would be impossible for humans. During the story, we thought kind of things, so trying to deny that. Now I can say it clearly. Each of them, all of them, were crimes impossible for a human. Those crimes were impossible to carry out unless it was the witch Beatrice, using all the power magic could provide. The culprit was a witch. That point is perfectly clear. Battler has been very quiet. Long live Beatrice-sama. Everyone believed. I'm happy. Ooh. Gods and witches might seem terrifying to people who are frightened of them, but I think they must have affection for those who believe in and respect them. I think it's just as you say. So now we're all done playing murder cases. Now's the time to pull ourselves together and try hard to solve the riddle of the epitaph, just like Beatrice said, right? Agreed. Beatrice will definitely be happy. Well, we all ignored that letter during the story, after all. Even though it was thrust right in front of us, we almost completely ignored it. Kinda feel sorry for Beatrice-sama. I have a memo with the epitaph on it. Let's all solve the puzzle. Let's all solve the puzzle. The story probably went wrong ever since that time. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe we should have tried solving the epitaph's riddle from the beginning, like Beatrice-sama said. Well, it's a little late now. Even so, let's try solving it now and see if the witch forgives us. Let's go, let's go. Let's try to solve the riddle of the epitaph. Here we are. Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved home of old. As Maria put her notebook on the table and opened to the page where the epitaph was written, everyone peered closely at it and had fun and lively discussions and started guessing this and that about the riddle. Surrounded by the smell of black tea and freshly baked vanilla cookies, they spent the time comfortably and happily. Battler pops up and is like, yeah, this is still bullshit. I don't believe this for a fucking second. Wait a second, you guys! Battler said in a tone that ruined the mood. His expression looked a little unhappy. What could he not like about all this fun? But listening to you guys, why did you all stop thinking? Why are you so sure that the witch was behind all of this? Don't you realize that stuff like that doesn't exist? With just those words, the happy atmosphere of the tea party disappeared in no time at all. George and Jessica, and Shannon and Cannon, and Maria, all of them stared blankly, wondering why Battler was saying such weird things. Even the foolish and arrogant Battler noticed he had said the wrong thing. Well, come on! Isn't it clear that those crimes were impossible for a human? Yeah, none of those cases would have been possible for a human. That's right. After all, wasn't it full of things that you couldn't explain using humans? I don't understand what you're saying, Battler-sama. I'm the one who doesn't have a clue what you guys are talking about. It's obviously that humans committed... Isn't it obvious that humans committed these crimes? There's obviously no such thing as witches, right? Then, what about when I was killed in the storehouse and something horrible was done to half my face? The culprit was human. How could they have accomplished it? Well, I mean, it's hard to imagine how they could have done something that awful. But it was the Rose Garden storehouse, right? I'm sure there were plenty of weird tools in there. Don't ask me, but they could have used some electrical tool, like a grinder or an electric saw, couldn't they? Okay, Battler, then how do you explain Grandfather's disappearance from the locked room of the study? Grandfather disappeared all of a sudden, even though the door was sealed, remember? Well, yeah, he got lured out the same as you all did. The fuck? We talked about that during the story, too. It's not impossible that Grandfather used some trick to fool the receipt. It's also possible that he went out from the window or fell out through the window, and Aunt Nazi locked it from the inside. I can think of a bunch of tricks that you could use without relying on magic, you see? It makes sense, but... In that case, Battler-kun, how do you explain the way my parents were killed in the guest room? The door was sealed by the lock and chain. Yeah, actually, the windows were sealed too. How would you suggest a human could have killed my parents? Well, you're right, we did have to leave that trick alone during the story. Anyways, there's a good chance the culprit had the key at least. It was impossible to look in through the crack of the door that the chain allowed. This is extremely far-fetched, but it's possible that some device was used through that crack. Maybe they brought something out through the crack? Well, they did mention that they could somehow like use the things as a projectile, even though it would be like difficult. We did have like a thing of a layout of the room at one point, but I can't remember exactly what that layout was. Where they brought something through the crack. Well, even though chains are incredibly simple, they're a big factor in constructing a locked room. But authors have done almost every possible locked room trick there is to do by now. You brought just a few locked room mysteries from some bookstore or another. You could probably find some more trick that would fit perfectly. Anyways, I can't think of one for now, but I can say for certain that a human could manage it somehow if they tried hard enough. Isn't that argument horribly irrational? It's just ridiculous to claim that it's possible for a human to do something even though you can't explain how. Why is that ridiculous? Why did all of you stop thinking? Even if it looks possible, it has to be doable. Doesn't it always look like that? Badler, you're the one being ridiculous. If you think that a human could have done it, try explaining how. You can't, can you? And just because I can't explain it, that immediately makes the culprit a witch? For that argument, all the unsolved cave crimes around the world could be resolved by saying a witch is the culprit. Oh, the thunderstorm. The typhoon. Badler, you're sidestepping the issue and you aren't explaining everything. We are saying a human can't do it, therefore the culprit is something that isn't human. And that something is a witch. And yet you keep arbitrarily deciding that witches are impossible, even though you can't explain anything. It's almost like humanity was during the Dark Ages. But those fools who claimed that the Earth couldn't be spinning, that the heavens had to be spinning around the Earth, even though they couldn't say how. That kind of argument pisses me off. So this is basically what you're trying to say. If I can't explain how a human could do it, then I must accept that the culprit is the witch, Beatrice. It's not like we're forcing you. We're just wondering on what basis you could say such nonsense. Nonsense? Hey, is what I've been saying really that weird? Am I the one who's crazy? You guys are really starting to freak me out. When I died in the boiler room, I was killed by a 19th person who shouldn't exist. Can you explain how a human could have done that? At that time, the location of the 18 were all well known. Even so, I was killed. We talked about that in the story as well. Kumasawa Bachan, for example. She said that she followed right after you'd headed down to the boiler room, but for all we know, that might have been a lie. She might have entered the boiler room with you and caught you by surprise. Or maybe when you stepped into the boiler room, you activated some kind of trap, one that might have been set up to hit you with one of those ice picks. After all, the stink of Grandfather's body was coming from the incinerator. Someone was bound to come, so all the culprit had to do was set up a trap, and it would be more than possible for them to stay away from that place, and create an alibi for your time of death. Yeah, I was actually thinking about that. Like, I mean, sure, we saw the butterflies and shit, but, like, he really could have just set up, like, some sort of, like, fucking, like, projectile system, or, like, a system that would launch it if they, like, approached something or whatever. You talked about a trap in the boiler room, but what kind of trap? That's right. After that happened, we all immediately ran over to the boiler room, but we didn't find any kind of weird device like that. That's correct. Badler-sama, what kind of trap did you claim I was killed with? Well, I don't know that. But anyways, they must have pulled off some kind of trap, or maybe someone is lying, or what about this? Hanan-kun, what if the whole thing was just you play acting? That's it, you were play acting. Auntie Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi were also play acting. They made the locker room themselves and were only pretending to be dead. Badler, has your head been feeling alright? Should I bring some cold drinks? Don't look at me with those pitying eyes. I'm not saying something that crazy. I'm just pointing out possibilities that could have been used as tricks, alright? Look, this isn't one of the cliches in mystery stories that the victims aren't really dead? Cliches? Okay, so when Hanan-kun was killed, we really did know for sure where the rest of us were. And let's assume Kumasawa Bachan wasn't lying. But it only holds true for the survivors. The culprit pretended to be dead and placed themselves together with the real victims to hide themselves and then acted on their own later, then everything would have been explained. That's also, like, how you could, like, just... Because I was even thinking to myself... Like, I had even... Like, I think I had mentioned it. But, like, it could have been somebody else's body that had been burned. Like, we figured it out. Like, what did we do? We set it based on, like, the toes and, like, the stuff in his pockets. But, like, he could have very easily passed that on to one of his kids at some point, like, or somehow. And then just, like, used one of the bodies from the shed, like, either Krauss or, like, or Rudolph. Would have been fairly easy to do, especially because he's the one whose movements we know absolutely the least about. Hereditary 6 toes, yes. And they never went back to the shed. Not once did they do that, yeah. I guess. Are you trying to say that Auntie Eva or the rest of them was the culprit? But Dr. Nancho confirmed everyone's death as a doctor, remember? That's right. Dr. Nancho checked all the victims. Badler-sama, for your theory to work, wouldn't Dr. Nancho have to be one of the culprits too? Yeah, that's right. Once you consider that Dr. Nancho might have been one of the culprits who faked the proclamation of death, the whole story changes. See, that's also a cliche in mystery novels, isn't it? But Dr. Nancho was also killed. About that. That's right, Dr. Nancho faked his death. I mean, there wasn't anyone except for Dr. Nancho who could examine corpses properly, and everyone was really confused then anyways. We didn't have any spare time to check to see if he still had a pulse. With this theory, any one of those dead people could have been walking around. I think that it would have been hard for the 6 of us who died in the beginning to do that. After all, the shutter was closed, there was a padlock that could have been opened from the inside. Yeah, Mom was holding onto the key. So is Mom one of the culprits too? Wait a second. Maybe it was impossible for the first 6, but in the case of Anaki's parents, the door was only locked from the outside. So they could have opened it from the inside. That's right, after we left the room, maybe they jumped out the window or got to the boiler room first. Is that too much? Or maybe Dr. Nancho made a mistake when examining the corpse. Battler.
He's hurting himself.
You're not wrong, but you gotta calm down. You are actively, like, tearing the machinery out of your brain right now. Like, you are burning, you are, like, throwing pistons all over the place up there.
I kind of want ice cream.
Do you have any that you can grab? Or is it just, like, you know...
Since I moved, I don't want to make a habit of bringing snacks into my room.
I see.
But do I want to sit in the kitchen while doing this?
Why not? It was like Battler's repeating the mistake that got everyone killed in the first place, acting which wasn't real and therefore acting rationally for a different genre of story. Sure, but that's the thing, though. I don't know if this story is, like, actually fantasy, or if it is kind of like how Battler is saying. I think, like, one of the fundamental, like, concepts and conceits of Umineko, or at least as far as I understand it right now, is that tug and pull, like, that push and pull between, like, is this actually supernatural, or does this have a mundane explanation? Rather be like, I can't be my family and it can't be magic. Therefore, shut up. It didn't happen. None of it happened. It was all a dream. Thing is, we don't know if Battler is correct or not. Exactly. I think that's fundamentally, like, one of the most intriguing parts of the story, is that uncertainty. What if it was Dracula pretending to be a witch? We see now we're cooking with gas. Look, he said it himself, right? He said there's a very high probability of making a mistake when examining corpses. They disguised it well, prepared a substitute corpse or something, and faked their own death. Let's leave the method or trick they used for later, and you see, it's not that hard to deny a 13th person existed. Much less a witch. At least that much is completely impossible. I don't know why you've been trying so stubbornly to say that one of us is the culprit. In other words, you want to suspect one of your relatives? That's not it. It's just, I can't easily accept that a 19th person existed, and even if one did, I think we should construct our argument from the point of view of that culprit was a human. Witches are something you only start talking about in desperation, at the very end, after everything else has been disproved, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, come on, there's no way witches exist, right? Why have you all just been casually accepting that the culprit was a witch? I think it's great how your family loves to make you hate the thought that someone close to you is a murderer. But it is alright to just brush things over like that? Don't you want to find that detestable culprit who killed so many people? Aniki, you want to avenge your parents, don't you? Jessica, you want to avenge Canon-kun, and Canon-kun, you want to avenge Shannon-chan, right? Shannon-chan, you should at least want to know who it is that killed you. Why have you all totally surrendered and decided that the culprit was a witch? What's wrong with all of you? The foolish and short-tempered Battler tried to force his ignorance on the others by yelling at them. This narrator is absolutely Beatrice, isn't it? How are the seagulls? Well, they're
not crying.
Well, they were crying. No, they were crying to an empty mansion.
That's true.
The foolish and short-tempered Battler tried to force his ignorance on the others by yelling at them. However, everyone just looked at him pityingly, silently watching over him. Then wise Maria laughed and pointed out Battler's mistake for him. Hell's Halls. We're just astounded. All you've been doing is repeating this nonsense, thinking you figured something out, Battler. So what? And how would a human do it? Concretely, whenever we ask you those questions, all you can say is, I can't think of anything right, I can't think of anything now, or with some kind of device or something, using abstract words to run away and evade the topic. And in fact, I want to ask you, Battler, why don't you believe in Beatrice? She exists, so why don't you believe? Because she doesn't exist. Witches don't exist. There's no way. He was almost like a stubborn child, refusing for no reason. Yeah, I think that's the heart of his character. He's like, he is a kid who is like, no, shut the fuck up. Shut up.
Yep.
His pitying gaze is quickly blanketed Battler. They didn't reach a stubborn heart. You're acting totally just like a kid who can't have his way. Sama, I understand your feelings, but Beatrice-sama does exist. Battler-kun, why don't you believe? Look at how much circumstantial evidence there is. I don't accept the argument if I can't explain that it's all the witch. That if I can't explain it, it's all the witch. If you don't know how a light bulb shines, if you don't know the principle, does that mean it's all magic? It doesn't, does it? There's nothing that can't be explained without magic. All of this about witches and magic is just abdication of thought. You just surrendered and gave up because you don't understand what happened. I'm right, aren't I? Well, I'm not surprised. But it looks like you're the only one who's not going to believe no matter what. I really do think that it's interesting how it was like there were two witches at the end. Like, Maria had become a witch.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, she still died, and, like, her journal was like, please figure out what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Even a single person doesn't believe the miracle won't occur. So if you don't rethink your ignorant theories, the miracle, the magic won't be completed. Now I see. I finally figured it out. So in other words, you guys want me to get me to say that the witch exists, don't you? If everyone accepts this lie, then it will become the truth. That's what all this is about, isn't it? Well, too bad. This is the one place I'm going to have to say too bad. That's no goddamn good at all. I refuse. You guys are all pressing me, and that's exactly why it's all no goddamn good. Why? Sorry, but why don't you let me flip over the chessboard one last time? If you want to force me to accept that there's a witch, there's a really easy way. And it's not the roundabout way of saying humans can't do it, so it must be a witch. All you have to do is actually show it to me, the way a witch did it with magic. Furthermore, what Maria said earlier is what would really dig your grave. You said that even one person doesn't believe, a miracle won't occur. But real miracles will happen whether people believe in them or not. Even if I alone don't believe. So any miracles or magic or witches that exist only because I believe in them are downright lies. The uneasy mood following Badler's ignorant rant was thoughtfully blown away by a very refreshing light laugh. Aw, is it her? Whose laugh? Badler was surprised with a voice which he had never heard before. When he looked at George and Jessica, Shannon, Cameron, and Maria, he noticed that they had suddenly gone respectfully silent. Let's go! Let's go! Finally! There is a sprite
you survived.
on my screen. She is here. We have finally found the Golden Witch.
She's so happy.
Give me 1 second. I haven't been able to meet such a charming human for quite some time. You're like, he's so stupid. That's cute.
Me.
Yeah. Who are you? So you don't even know the host of the tea party to which you are invited. Simply wonderful. Her voice does sound a lot like Ava's. Magic did absolute shambles, shitting, crying, throwing up. Yeah. You are graced by the presence of Golden Witch who has lived for 1,000 years, Beatrice-sama. I am most honored to see you, Beatrice-sama. Please forgive Badler-kun's ranting. This guy's just stubborn, and he still doesn't understand the situation he's in. It's fine. After 1,000 years, most witches get tired of living. Once in a while, it's nice to meet a man with a backbone such as yourself. It's quite an honor to be present when Beatrice shows herself, Badler. Now what, Badler? This is some shit! Are you really that desperate to make me believe that a witch, that a 19th person is the culprit? This is starting to get interesting. And it's no goddamn good. He must be an illusion of the witch Beatrice, which has been asserted by Maria-chan and the others. And only when everyone believes in your existence will you finally be allowed to exist. You're that kind of fictional being, right? That's why you want to make me believe, too. You can't exist because I alone don't believe in you. Isn't that right? Your power of understanding isn't bad for a common mortal who knows nothing of magic. I see. It seems you were born with a strong magic-resisting power. The natural enemy of us witches. No matter how much we tip you upside down and shake you, you will never believe in us. Therefore, magic will fall short against you. Oh, I see. It's like the opposite of like fairies, like where if you like believe in them, then they come back to life or whatever. If you don't believe in magic, that shit doesn't do shit. He is he is absolutely a normal type Pokemon. He's still got eviscerated though. Well, I mean, listen, you can get murdered the same as anyone else. I mean, it doesn't have to be magic. Just because magic doesn't work out him doesn't mean she can't take the hacksaw to him. That attitude of yours makes you a great deal of sense. I've got no clue what you're saying. It's very kind of... I do like that they both have, like, kind of obnoxious laughs. I think that that's
I'm just
like
so happy to see them interacting.
It's so good. I'm so excited. She has to exist to hacksaw Battler, dead. Don't worry about that. That's we'll explain that later. A device did it. Very kind of you to go to all the trouble of showing yourself to us, but I don't believe you exist in the slightest. It's true that many strange things happened during those 2 days. Like Maria said earlier, even though I think that all that tricks could be explained, I still can't lay out the practical details of each one. That doesn't mean I'll surrender. I'm different from the rest of them, see? I'm stupid! I'll never argue that it was the work of a witch just because I don't explain it. My interest in you grows deeper. She's got the fang. It will be worth my time to break you. You're just the kind of man I'd love to force into praising my name. Watch out, Battler, she's gonna peg you! You're just the kind of man I'd love to force into kissing my toes. I see. Talk all the nonsense you want. I deny you exist. All the events can be explained with human tricks. There's no room for even a speck of magic or witches. Wonderful. It's the perfect form of diversion from 1,000 years of boredom. Then let me ask you. A short while ago, you said that the crack in the door would be sufficient to kill Eva and Hideyoshi, right? Explain how you would do that using your human tricks. Suddenly jumping right into the toughest part, are you? Does that mean this is the trick you're proudest of? Miss Real Culprit?
Damn.
Maria with the leg light in the parlor. Wow, good job.
Thank you.
Ah! New transition. Beatrice struck her golden pipe, and 7 colors of gentle smoke trailed out of the end. Smoke quickly obscured the surroundings, and they were suddenly in the hallway of the mansion. Wow. Beatrice said gay rights. In front of their eyes, a slightly open door secured by a chain. Yes, it was the entrance to the room where Eva and Hideyoshi had been killed. Nice trick.
I'm dead. Fucking magic literally happens, and he's like, wow, nice trick.
Show me what you would do through this small crack, Battler. They probably had some device to shoot those ice picks, if they used that. Then how would you aim at Eva over in the bed when you can't see that far through the crack? Shit. And how would you reach Hideyoshi in the bathroom with the door shut? Damn it. There's a crack. There should be some way. Oh no, my pet theory. You can't think of one, allow me. Go on, how would a great witch do it then? Come on, let's see your little trick. Battler, you're being rude to Beatrice. It's fine, quite fine. What a charming man. It would make it all the more enjoyable to break him. You really want to make me kiss your toes that much? Only if I surrender, but watch, I'll definitely expose this trick, and then I'll make you kiss my ass instead! This is really not getting away from those pegging allegations, goddamn! This is foreplay. We're watching foreplay right now.
True.
What a charming man. I shall remember that promise. Oh! Ah! Weak witches kiss the behinds of demons to gain power. Because there is no greater oath of total submission. It's words like those that give you the desire to subjugate you. Paying no mind of badly screwed ranting, Beatrice once again waved her golden pipe. Yes, for that golden pipe was your precious magic wand. Come, arise, children. I am the guide of purgatory. Wield the 7 stakes, which forgave the deadly sins. Guided by those magic words, which sounded like a psalm, 7 stakes scattered. They were the stakes of the 7 demons symbolizing the deadly sins of sinful people. Beelzebub and Asmodeus, come and forgive their sins. Release the spirits of the sinners. What? The stakes of Beelzebub and Asmodeus responded to Beatrice's call. The 2 demonic stakes burst into motion like billiard balls struck by a keel and were sucked through the crack in the door. Then came the sound of them reflecting repeatedly off the walls of the room, making it sound like a woodpecker. Finally, a pleasant sound could be heard. Ah! The laugh! It was a small, satisfying sound, like the one heard when someone is chopping firewood and the falling axe neatly and easily slices through the wood. It was the sound of the 2 stakes burying themselves deep in Ava's and Hideyoshi's foreheads. Right through the middle. Want to see? He had definitely heard the 2 sounds like someone's forehead being split open. Badler wasn't permitted to see it since he was on the other side of the door. But those 2 had died again, the second time not an inch apart from where they had lain the last time, the exact same blood spray as before. He must be crazy. This is insane. You can't kill people with this insanity. I most certainly can. I can kill them just like this. I think the funniest possible solution to all this is, like, actually magic exists and Beatrice is real, and she is doing all this shit, but there just happens to be enough of wiggle room and, like, a way to actually do it mundanely, so that, like, Battler is actually correct every time, but, like, she actually did do it. This is how she did it. I think this is the ideal solution for me. That's a fun transition. Suddenly, they were no longer in the hall, but seated at the tea party they had started from. Everyone but Battler was sitting meekly. Buchanan was moaning, fresh blood dangling from his mouth. Such bad manners for a tea party. Satan's stick was buried deep in Buchanan's chest. Oh, yeah, because he had also been... yeah. Canon-kun. Damn it! Battler was the only one getting agitated. Jessica, George, Shannon... everyone else was just meekly hanging their heads like students being told off by the teacher. Canon, you were captivated by a trifling anger and tried to disturb my banquet. Your deadly sin is being easily captivated by anger. Cleanse yourself, regret, and do it over. Beatrice-sama. Beatrice-sama, please forgive him. I think Canon-kun has repented enough. Wonderful. I am generous to those who respect me. Cut the crap! Don't think for a second that his poor show of theatrics will convince me of your sorry existence. Like hell, you're a 1,000-year-old witch. Your tricks aren't 1,000 years old. At best, they're the accumulation of hundreds of years of cliches that the mystery world created. They're not magic. No way are they magic. All these crimes can be explained with human tricks. You would explain my 1,000 years with 100 years by humans.
Sorry.
Good. That's why I like you. Hey, don't worry about it too much. You cast an accuracy spell just so the throw would land. Incredible. Foolish Battler. Stop yourself, Battler-kun. Beatrice-sama is someone you can't go against. Shannon started moaning, holding her cheek. Maybe she had a toothache, but it didn't look anything like a toothache. Slight redness appeared across the cheeks Shannon was holding. It looked like that redness was causing Shannon unbearable pain. She started to press her nails into her cheek, and drops of sweat appeared all over her body. Hang in there, hang in there! What's going on? Damn it, what the hell is that red stuff? It expanded rapidly, covering half of Shannon's face. Then stupid dunce Battler finally realized. Please, Battler-kun, please believe in Beatrice-sama. I beg you. Because you won't believe. Because you won't believe. The magic is wearing off. The first time in his life, Battler heard that sound like a pomegranate splitting. Red splay even landed on Battler's face. Oh, so because he's not believing, the souls aren't coming back and the love that they have is dying. Magic deniers be like, their bodies just did that. It's crazy. Last horrible moments in the storehouse have been repeated once again. What a fun thing to have, like, your, like, fun post-game epilogue be like, no, this is canon. Damn you! Damn you! Stop it, stop it, stop it! Don't humiliate the dead! Don't humiliate the dead!
We shall all revert to mush.
This time, red patches began to spread across George's entire body. It was the beautiful cloud drawn by milk when it was poured into black tea. Then it slowly spread out and extended across his entire body. As they grew more saturated in color, they seemed to give George increasingly greater pain. Looking at those bizarre patterns, Battler was petrified as he frantically thought with his pitiful, clumsy imagination about the nature of the strange deaths that George and the other had experienced. Before long, that redness reached to the nearby Jessica as well. Stop, stop, stop! What did Aniki do? What did Jessica do? Just stop! Don't let the witch break your spirit. Ah! She believes in him! Deny her, erase her. As long as one person denies her, she's an illusion that can't exist. Are you okay, Jessica? Aniki! George was no longer shaped like a person. He looked like the pile of leftover meat after the good, delicious meat had been scraped off to be cooked. The only traces left of him as time as human were the shape of his lower jaw and ribcage. It was clear that Jessica, who was covered with a steadily strengthening redness, was approaching the same fate. Battler, quick, believe in Beatrice. If you don't, everyone's magic will wear off. Maria, it's all over your body, too. I resurrect all the dead with my magic. But as long as you don't believe, that magic will hold no true power. But I'm sure that a man of your caliber won't be broken by something like this, right? We didn't want to doubt our friends. We refused to face reality and gave in to the witch. But I know you won't give in to that witch. How sad. Jessica met the same end. Just like George, she ended up as a butcher's leftover. Broken apart, melted, and all mixed up. You couldn't tell which was George and which was Jessica anymore. Don't cry. Beatrice will resurrect the dead over and over. But there's nothing to be sad about. So, even if we die, we're still just fine. The redness began eating into the whole of Maria's body. When she saw this, the foolish battler screamed out loud. You bitch, you won't get away with this. I'll never forgive you. You call yourself a witch? You call this magic? I'll deny you with every last fiber of my being. I don't care what happens. There's not a chance in hell I'm ever going to accept you. If you want me as an enemy that bad, I'm going to make sure you get what's coming to you. I'll get you for this. You're going to pay for this. You're going to fucking pay. You're going to regret making Ushiromi a battler your enemy. I'll deny you no matter what. Every last impossible thing. I'll explain it all with humans. I'll erase every cell of you from this world. Umineko no Naku Koro ni, Rondo of the Witch and Reasoning.
Let's go.
Now these are women's wrongs. Yeah. Crazy
now
that
we
they're gonna,
really finished the first episode, baby.
Crazy they're gonna fuck after all this. I thought they were doing a fun epilogue. Nope.
I thought they were playing everyone's an actor and this was a TV show thing.
I thought this was B3. Why is this not B3? This is good. Eddie, how you doing?
We are so good. We have finally met Beatrice.
We finally did it.
Now we can get into real shit.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm like, now it's time for the this was the intro. Now that the intro is done and all the exposition has been done, it's time for real shit. part of me is like, can I skip these credits at all, or is this just gonna play?
I don't know. You can try.
I don't. Oh.
Ooh.
Well, that was me accidentally full screening it. I don't think there's a way to skip it.
I guess we'll just have to sit here and wait for the thing to go? Question mark.
Yeah, probably. Lambda Delta. Who the fuck is Lambda Delta?
You just got through the transitions. This is very accurate.
Yeah. Well, okay, so now we know the thing. It's Beatrice trying to break Battler into believing that she exists. And Battler having to resist that and explain what's happening using, like a more traditional, like, human-centric version of the universe. As long as he can do that, as long as he can continue to deny that she exists, or find some way to deny that she exists, she can't win. Battler could simply revive his family by believing that he really is that proud and stubborn and proud, huh? I don't think it's quite that simple. Like, it's not something you can, like... He has to convince himself there's no other way. How does he not believe she exists exactly? He just saw her do magic. No, because he can still see that, like... This is something... I don't know. I don't know exactly what his thought process of, like, looking at Beatrice and talking to Beatrice and still not believing she exists is. But it's more like... He is committed to the idea that, like... He will not be, like, led into this intellectual laziness that, like, is a witch did it. There's no way that a human could have done all these crimes, therefore it's a witch, and just give up like that, you know? And the events happened, they were live and back at Tea Party. There's definitely, like, magic happening, but I do think it's, like, the magic where it's, like, you have to believe, and if, like, the belief isn't there, then the magic doesn't exist. So it's in kind of, like, a Schrödinger state, where the magic is simultaneously happening and not happening, you know?
Getting comfortable.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy that there's always two holes in the gunshot, but it was only just, like, the one gunshot.
It looked cooler.
I played DMC. I know how it is. You speak well, Battler. That's the kind of thing that can divert me from my 1,000 years of boredom. Come, explain. Try explaining it all with your so-called human tricks, and learn how lowly humans are. Let's see you try to use what humanity has built up in 100 years to oppose my 1,000. It'll make forcing you to submit all the more enjoyable. But tell me, Battler, what about Maria's letter? How were the 6 killed? The shutter, the receipt seal, the locker room with the chain, Cannon in the boiler room, Genji and the others in the parlor, Nazi suicide, the riddle of the epitaph, the location of the hidden gold. Come, Battler, why don't you show me the power of humans? Good argument, Battler.
True.
Poison tea, flesh-eating poison tea. Oh. Don't think about it. Mystery has been added.
Sure has.
Is that what's next? Do I click that next? Welcome to the Tea Party of the Unhuman. Do I click this, Eddie?
I actually don't remember. It doesn't hurt, I guess. Not gonna lie, in my head it was just like one tea party.
Whoops. Oh. 600 million it seemed minor. What sort of tea should I prepare next? You have a free choice of any brand that was ever thought that ever was throughout the ages. Ah, I know her. That's that one. That's that one Higurashi girl. Dried plum tea. Those dried plums that go for 200 yen a pack. For 1,000 years I have been fond of black tea. I did not know of such a thing. I will never tire of living in this world. Bito. You don't have to display such hostility. I'm just a wandering witch. I didn't come with the intention of violating the rules of your territory. There's not even a sliver of hostility. I am just terribly concerned about losing the legendary witch. Lady Bernkestel is well attended to. You misunderstand. I am powerless. Before a witch such as you, with the dreadful power to kill a person 100 times over, I am completely powerless. That a powerless witch like you possesses a power that none can approach is what is truly terrifying. This some kind of crossover,
like a crossover thing?
I don't. Maybe from what I've heard about like how he described Higurashi, I could see something like this happening.
The girl that you see here, her design is based off of the main character of Higurashi, but you can basically just pretend that they have no connection at all, because it's not like Higurashi's ever going to come up.
Yeah. Except for the one thing, that one scene
it's like the design's basically being borrowed.
Yeah. After all, you fended off that great witch. Lady Lambda Delta is a lone piece. I only won an endurance contest. She simply got tired. Well, like, Eddie, from how you were describing Go, this seems pretty, like...
Okay, here's the thing.
Okay.
Go did make Umineko and Higurashi cross over, like, in a canon way, and that's why it wasn't good.
Oh, okay, I see.
So, obviously, this game had existed way before Go decided to, so at this point, there was never any intention for, like, a legitimate crossover. Maybe, like, references...
Like a saber
But other than that, no.
Maybe. Hey, Brad. She simply got tired. That is not what Lady Lambda Delta said, though. Too much humility can be unseemly, Lady Bernkestel. Please walk like a person.
No.
That girl has a dreadful power. The power to kill a person without fail. However, there's no such thing as without fail in this world. Hey, Brad. Just as no matter how many times you divide one, you can never make it zero. That girl has a powerful power to bring closer and closer to virtually zero and give rise to a virtually absolute certainty. Oh, she has a power to do limits. Okay, gotcha. I hope I never have to fight against such a terrifying witch again. However, you have a power that manifests without fail, except for zero. Although you say there is no such thing as without fail in this world, you possess an infallible power yourself. How very terrifying.
I may have, like, immediately regretted saying there was no crossover.
And you're like,
I'm watching them have this conversation, I'm like, oh, wait.
Like, oh, this is just Higurashi. The power to kill a person
well,
endlessly.
It's okay.
I think you're the more terrifying one. Such jests. From your point of view, mine is but a trifling power. The phrase flattery will get you nowhere is made for this situation. Call it payment for my stay here. I am a fleeting traveler who crosses the Kakira fragments, continually running from boredom. I simply came around because I had heard that you had started something interesting. Rest assured, I will leave of my own accord as soon as you start to bore me. I am deeply humbled and delighted to have the great Lady Bernkestel as an observer. Cackle, cackle, cackle. And so, your impression. Lambda Delta is terrifying because of her cruelty. However, she was a girl I could understand. You do seem to possess affection, but I can't understand you at all. That's why you're much more terrifying than her. Yeah, I know that bitch. Like, she can do whatever she wants, but I can predict her angle. You're weird. I am fickle by nature. Do forgive me. Besides, I believe you may also enjoy entrusting your fate to the roll of the fickle dice. Is that not so, Lady Bernkestel? Also, that might explain why she's like, yeah, dried plum tea, 200 yen a pack, that's my shit. Bito, you are just weird. Please stop teleporting. When I roll the dice, I have a roll I clearly want to get. Unlike you, on the other hand, anticipate all outcomes. And whatever the roll might be, you're never disappointed. That's really enviable, actually. That's like crazy. Michael Caine voice. Some witches aren't just looking for anything rational. Some witches just want to watch the world burn. I can't do a Michael fucking Caine accent to save my life.
Okay.
Whatever roll the dice show you, you're satisfied without fail. In that sense, you far surpass me. You're the only one I don't really want to fight. You're one I really don't want to fight with. Inside of you, there's nothing but zero. That's why I can't win against you with my power. The worst matchup. Perhaps Lambda Delta, on the other hand, has a good matchup against you, since she would likely be able to kill your endlessness. Really, tea is best drunk in the company of a witch. It's never boring. You gotta stop teleporting around so much, Burn Castell. Please just pick a spot.
No, she can't sit comfortably. She can't.
Boredom is the sole poison that can kill me. So don't kill me, alright? Lady Beatrice, Endless Witch. Such is your wish, then I shall show upon you an even better time. In that case, wouldn't it be best if I brought the next chessboard in right away? Seems like the next tale would do more for you than a refill of tea. Just wait a moment. Not sure I like that. Not sure I appreciated that. That's Burn,
That's awesome.
Burn, could you go back to looking at the tea? Something troublesome seems to have taken a liking to you. I'd really like to lend you my power, but just as you've heard, that girl's power and mine have a very bad matchup. Oh, this is Battler. Battler is seeing this somehow. Her power and mine have a very bad matchup, unfortunately for you. But you really are pitiful, so I'll help you out just a bit. First of all, think about that girl. She does have an existence that goes by the name of Beatrice, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she is a woman with an individual body. You understand what I mean? In other words, she's not some human. Her existence is the personification of the rules of this world. Shows she's like a force of nature. To beat her, you have to expose some of the rules of that world and this world and unravel them. This can be likened to learning the rules of chess by watching a few games. First, take a good look over the chessboard, and notice the movement and rolls of the pieces. Then look for conditions required to win in her game. When you manage to reveal all those things, her heart will be exposed. She's the game master. The eye turn was very good, I do like that.
It was awesome.
After that, you can rip it apart or crush it as you please. Oh. But I don't want that. I want Battler to get pegged. I'm being quite generous. Back when I was once human, it took me 100 years to realize even this much. This is my meteor farewell gift to you, the pitiful one captured by Vito. It is like a single spoon. The spoon can be used for far more than just drinking soup. You can use it to dig through the prison you're locked in, or as a weapon to gouge the witch's eyes out. Of course, you can also use the spoon to continually sip away the watery soup inside of your internal prison. Don't get the wrong idea. I have no intention of becoming your ally. I do feel empathy for you, but I won't help you. It's like how someone sitting in front of a television cannot reach the characters on screen, no matter how much they yell at them. That's how you can tell I am a witch, you see. I intend to enjoy the endless tales that Beato is going to weave until I tire of them. But I'm sure that alone won't hold my interest. That's why I'll lend you my power. It's also I don't get tired of this. I am the cruelest witch in the world. No matter who the opponent may be, I'll absolutely make them suffer. Surrender, excuse me. Yeah, surrender. Even if that's Beatrice, the Endless Witch. You are my game piece. Give it your best shot. I'll give you some advice sometimes, out of her sight. Don't bore me, okay? Okay, so this is definitely from the perspective of Battler.
Not gonna lie, I thought that the witch's tea party happens after the second episode. I didn't realize there was one immediately after the first.
Next episode has been unlocked. The elements may be accessed from the title screen. Ooh, character. Ooh, new title screen.
Yep.
Oh, look at the manta ray. Oh, he's so cute.
Right? Oh, we did it.
Characters you may look back upon your sojourn here. Episode 1.
Yep. This is the cast.
Oh, human side, witch side. Which side? Oh, Beatrice, the Golden Witch, who has lived for 1,000 years. She has already surpassed the limits of humans and said that she will appear in response to a human summons, just as humans do, and lend them her power for a price. Likes black tea and ice cream. Hates boredom and those who deny her existence.
I also like black tea and ice cream.
Wow. Oh, she's got a little cattail. Witch of Fragments, who has lived for 1,000 years. It says she lives in a world where concepts like fate and possibility can be made visible. Observes the fate of humans and sometimes interferes. In other words, she is sometimes she is you, and she is also your only friend. Understand? Likes wine and spicy foods. Hate boredoms and those who never learn. Execute. By continuing to think, I live on for all eternity. In other words, if I stop thinking, I can die at any time. However, I can revive again whenever I want if I start thinking again. So I'm fickle and inconstant. I live as I like, I die as I like, I revive as I like. It shoots out for a human like you, like yourself, to dream of killing me. Even if you fire bullets at me, they will merely bounce back as though by a mirror and strike you down. However, there's a single way to kill me. You grasp this method in the palm of your hands. That a mediocre fool like you could ever do it, of course. Hee 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 hee. Cackle, cackle, cackle. Alright, let's see the characters that didn't get executed. So if we kill him, he usually comes back as soon as he gets hungry, usually. Burned in the incinerator with a weapon resembling an ice pick having rammed his forehead. The old green witch scattered and granted. Okay. Oh, then you can bring him back at different states. Start where it all began. Okay, so now that we have that... Oh, Beatrice! Okay.
Yep.
So let's see
she
what
inserted herself.
Okay, so let me see what happens if I execute Jessica, who we didn't see. Missing, even though she was given a single precious invitation to the Golden Man, a single idiot refused to believe in the witch, and all the magic went away. Afterwards, she was chewed to bits by demons and went to hell. Well.
Yep, that sucks. Again? Oh.
Just wanted to see if there's anything different. Even though it was fine that you were reunited with everyone and all getting along so well in the Golden Land, all the magic was spoiled thanks to a stubborn idiot. Afterwards, she was chewed by the bone by demons and went to hell. Missing. Hee 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 hee. Fair enough.
Yep. Maria will never go to hell.
Listen, the fool who spoiled the world where everyone could have been happy. Beatrice is very angry, but for some reason she looks like she's having a lot of fun. Almost as if he's the first fun new toy she's had in 1,000 years. Sorry, Kenzo! Beatrice is almost if only the city could just hurry up and see you, just like the rest. So this is definitely from the perspective of Maria. Alright, do we want to keep going for a little bit?
What time is it?
It's like 11:45.
We can start the next episode.
Alright. Turn of the Golden Witch. Good morning. The Golden Witch has been waiting impatiently for you. Please take your seat opposite to her at the table. Have you rested well and deliberated about how you will play? The Witch has high expectations of you and is determined to come at you right from the opening. I, too, am looking forward to observing your moves. The difficulty level is first rate. The Witch plans to make you surrender it in an instant. So these are being written from the perspective of Bern Castiel, isn't it? Like these intros.
Yeah, I guess. I haven't thought about it too much. I'm not gonna lie, sorry.
So good. Maria shows up again with a prosthetic jaw, calling this now. Yeah, she's just Raiden from MGS Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Let's go.
She comes in with like a fucking like electric katana and she starts slicing Rosa up. Story is undoubtedly nothing more than fantasy. It could not possibly have any relations to real persons, organizations, places, or events. Oh, I see. This is the aquarium where they had gone. Really quick, I'm assuming the episodes are like separate games. Like this was released over a period of time, or was this all like originally like the same thing?
They were released separately, I believe.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. And that also explains why like that last one is like 5 through 8, because of that, they just released them all at the same time. The last 3 were like released together. Interesting.
Yeah, most likely. They were definitely uploaded in parts.
Alright, look, George-sama. They're so cute. Look, look. They are pretty cute. Found and found a pair of hammerhead sharks swimming. Look
how cute she is!
This is really cute. You should not be dating a 23-year-old high school girl.
Look how cute she is!
She's so cute. There's about 6 months between each one, so people had a long time to theorize. Fantastic. That's a perfect... That's, you know, I feel like that's like a perfect amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
She made a fuss like a grade schooler seeing an aquarium for the first time. Not a good look, 23-year-old! But her dress still has boob socks. Oh well.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're really cute. George! What is this outfit?
Right? It's so weird. It feels wrong.
This feels wrong on George. This feels like...
The dog tags?
This looks like a fucking... like a character. He's dressing like a character from Yakuza.
Yes.
Yeah, they're really cute. I almost want to eat them.
What is wrong with you?
George, why are you a freak? Why are you only a freak around Shannon? She needs boob socks, their prescription. I feel so sorry for him. Did you know? I hear the only people in the world who come to an aquarium and say that the fish look delicious are the Japanese. Is that
Actually,
so?
my professor made a point of that, like, before the semester ended.
The dog tags only get a pass because they're a Higurashi reference? Oh, I didn't know that. Are they? Eddie?
What are they referencing? I don't remember dog tags, sorry.
Yeah. Sure, even the Americans in time would want to eat these. Clothes look good on you. Really? Shannon embraced her chest with both hands in embarrassment. She apparently felt like she was being made fun of for wearing clothes that she wasn't used to. Yeah.
Oh, Tomitake? That's... I see the resemblance now when you say it like that.
Oh.
George looks like an existing character from the Higurashi series in this outfit.
George is weird in the way conservatives are. God, he probably would be a Republican. I'm trying to think of the time frame that this date could be taking place in. And I don't really want to, because, like, the younger the two of them are, the more that 7-year age gap is worse. Like, George, are you telling me that you were, like... Are you telling me that you were 21 and you were dating a 14-year-old? Because that, like, I go to prison. Even though George's face didn't show it, the truth was that he was surprised at how easily those tremendous words had left his lips. He was as embarrassed as Shannon was on the inside. However, when he saw how embarrassed Shannon was, he started to feel as though he was teasing the girl he liked, and instead of embarrassment, ticklish amusement welled up in him. Wait, that isn't just a feeling. I really am teasing the girl I like. Pains me to admit it, but I used to think that such embarrassing expressions had fallen so far out of use that they no longer showed up even in manga. On the contrary, if I had seen a couple acting like that, I felt like throwing rocks at them. George, why are you actually a freak? Everyone's like, oh, he's so normal, and like, no, this man's a freak. However, even if rocks were thrown at us now, I'm sure they would just be like confetti celebrating us. Now I can't even remember those lonely days. I felt jealous of couples who were completely oblivious to their surroundings. Use an old-fashioned phrase, though it would be truly rose-colored days. I was so entranced that I no longer even noticed the big tank of the world's largest aquariums. Instead, I only saw Shannon happily playing with the fish, all of her changing emotions showing on her face. It's amazing, isn't it? It's my first time seeing a tank large enough for a whale to swim in. I hear that this tank is the biggest selling point here, and that it's the biggest in the whole world. Someone asked George if he's a libertarian. He's like, yes, how could you tell? What? Is that so? That's amazing. It really is wonderful. It doesn't even look like a tank at all, but rather like they sliced off part of the sea with a knife and brought it here. It does, doesn't it? It's a splendid little sea. Despite its size, I hadn't thought of the tank as anything more than a tank. That's why I thought her expression about slicing off part of the sea with a knife was so interesting. No matter how far humans broaden their experiences, in the end, they can only hold a single personal worldview. Maybe that's why it's so interesting to interact with someone who has a different worldview. They said that to her honestly. She responded, certainly, this might not be the real sea, but if those little guys swimming in there believe that it's a sea, then it certainly is a sea. Even though they're inside a finite tank, the sea is finite too. No, even if it were infinite, how much could we cover in our whole lives? I'm sure that it would be so much smaller than a sea. Certainly. It's ironic, isn't it? Even though the world is so vast, most of us live out our lives without ever leaving our own country. All it takes is the belief that it is a complete world, but that even the bottom of the narrow well would be a proper world in the sea. In the eyes of the frogs who live there, Shannon, who spent her days living as a servant in a small island 10 kilometers in circumference called Rokkenjima, said that with a smile. This woman is trapped. Please free her.
Uh-huh.
Free my girl Shannon.
Uh-huh.
Turn of the Golden Witch.
Right on. Turn. There we go.
I'm trying.
Yay!
It's just scrolling. Ushiromiya Battler.
Just saying the cast.
Ushiromiya George. Ushiromiya Jessica. Ushiromiya Maria. You gotta start hitting her in the tea party. Ushiromiya Kinzo. Ushiromiya Kraus. Ushiromiya Eva. Natsuhi and Hideyoshi. Rudolph, Rosa, Kyrie.
Palm trees.
When? Nancho, Shannon, Cannon, Genji, Goda, Chio. Or Kumasato.
Chio.
Beatrice. I love how her name is larger than anyone else's.
It's the most important one in my opinion.
Fair enough, but also it feels like the kind of thing she would do. I get the feeling she's naturally a very arrogant person.
Yeah.
She insisted on her name being bigger than anyone else's. Exactly. She's like, and why wouldn't I be? I am the most important character.
Store of Summer.
Wondering how the differences are going to play out. After we finished walking through the whole aquarium, we had a afternoon lunch at a restaurant with a nice view. Any voice of heart will jump at the sight of a buffet. I myself was like that in the past. I mean, it's true. But with Shannon beside me, this buffet felt different. Nothing's better than sharing a buffet with somebody you love. George, you're coming back around. Pedophile that you are.
Oh.
Without me, this VN would be called Jagoff's arguing in the mansion, the VN. Incredible. I couldn't shamefully make a I couldn't shamefully make a huge pile of nothing but my favorite foods. I was, how should I put it, worried about my appearance and chose a menu suited for a snob. Toast, salad, and coffee. God, that's sad. If I remember myself, I made a huge pile of greasy stuff like yakisoba, mashed potatoes, gratins, and the like. It's so sad watching a man deny himself.
Deadass. Did you do this when we went to a buffet?
Fuck no. I got what I wanted. I wouldn't hesitate getting up either. Excuse me, my eyes are watering a little bit.
Oh, he's crying for George.
I'm crying for George, this pedophile. But yeah, I don't hesitate. I don't give a shit about appearances like that. I'm at a buffet. I'm going up. I'm getting food. Shannon, is this enough for you? If it is, I guess we men are like animals with really bad fuel efficiency. I didn't mean to imply that. On Shannon's tray, there were only tea and salad. Damn, bitch, love yourself.
Girl.
Maybe the very idea that she could get away with at least one more dish indicated I was thinking with my male stomach. What about you, George-sama? Will that be enough? I think it's better for men to eat a little bit more. You normally eat more than that for lunch, don't you? Oops, right. Damn it. She knows because she is under me in my power dynamic, she knows my eating habits. I've been found out.
Dumbass.
Oops, right. You already know how much I eat from when I have lunch on the island. Yes, so I was wondering where your stomach wasn't feeling well today. Shannon was showing concern that I wasn't feeling well. I forgot that she was a subordinate and she would know these things.
Beryl, don't do that.
Apparently, I made her worried about my stupid attempts to impress her. In any case, it doesn't seem like my stomach was going to let me keep this pretense up any longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shannon has an eagle tattoo on her inner thigh and has an inner thigh window at 16. Does she? Looking things up in the Umineko wiki. Oh, don't tell me anything like that. Don't tell me that. That feels like I just got hit with a spoiler barrel. I'll confess already. I was just trying to look cool. It's on her sprite. You didn't notice? This sprite? Anyways, I was just trying to look cool. I just held back because I was with a girl. The previous sprite. Gotcha. Well, then I just didn't see the sprite. Let's go ahead and try to play it on the safe side with that, Beryl. I appreciate you trying to point some stuff out here and there, but like, I'd prefer to, like, if I don't catch it, especially something like that, where if I just don't see the full sprite, like I just don't get it, I think it's fine to not hear about it. I just held back because I was with a girl. I thought so. Considering how much you eat during lunch at the family conferences, I thought this wasn't nearly enough. Please don't be so reserved. Feel free to go and choose another dish. When was this? When is this date happening?
I forget.
This isn't fair. All the embarrassment is on me. What about you then, Shannon? You always manage to work for the Ushiromiya family while eating so little? Oh. Shannon grew silent, blushed bright red. Apparently I was the only one putting up a front. When I realized that, my embarrassment disappeared completely. That isn't enough for you either, isn't it? Yes, normally you eat more than this for lunch. A woman's stomach is made of magic, so this is enough. No. This must mean that we were both trying to impress each other. Let's not hold back anymore, shall we? I smiled to show that I wouldn't make fun of her anymore. Stood up from the seat. Come all the way to Okinawa. It would be a shame if we didn't eat some bitter melon. Go get some fried bitter melon or something. Come with me, Shannon. Come on, come on. Yes. Anyone watching this, we might have seemed like a pretty humorous and above all embarrassing couple. But actually, this power dynamic was fucked, and I'm a pedophile. But it's only after becoming a couple that you realize the banner means the world to us and is our world. No matter how the cold looks, the looks we might have been getting from other people, we wouldn't even notice. Indeed, at this age, I finally began to understand the feelings of couples who want to flirt endlessly without any regard to their surroundings. After I returned with a plate piled up with fried foods, Shannon arrived with a lovely cake, laughing at our fake stoicism as we resumed our lunch.
Good night, Edward.
Good night! I was trying to confirm the age gap. Yeah. Well,
I had looked it up earlier.
Yeah. It's a shame that it's so cloudy considering this restaurant has such a view of the sea. Our window seats, which we were lucky to get, showed us seaside scenery, and it was so grandiose that it didn't actively even fit entirely within our field of vision. However, because of the cloudy sky, it was far cry from its normal beauty. Yes, it is. If it had been clear, we would have seen quite the deep blue sea. Yeah, imagine you're used to seeing the sea on Rokkenshima, but the sea here would certainly be an exceptional blue. Is it just me, or is it getting foggier? It feels like it's getting foggier. Maybe it's just me. But no matter how blue it is, the sea I see during work might as well be gray. Today I'm not working, so, I mean... Shannon, Jesus Christ. Apparently Shannon was doing her best to say an embarrassing line. I'm more concerned about how it's like, it seems like your job makes you want to kill yourself.
I mean, honestly, think about the family
so.
she's working for.
Yeah, fair. So close. If only instead, when I look at it with you, even the grayest sea looks deep blue. I had given you full marks and a reward. I'm sorry. Yeah. Want to hear what the reward would have been? Stop flirting with this teenage moe blob, George. Stay away from her.
They're on a date. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
you can't run away.
He shouldn't be on a date with her. If you wouldn't mind. Nope, I won't tell you. We need not see shotgun. Dude. That's not fair. When I was in elementary school, I was always the kid who got bullied. When everyone teased me, I grew nervous and speechless instead of the light of bullies. Back then, I wondered why everyone teased me. But now, teasing Shannon like this, I understand what. This is terrible! You understand how this sounds, my man! This is so much fun. I can play with her emotions however I please, and I can have them all to myself. Right now, I can't think of any higher pleasure. Which is exactly why I have to treat her lightly. I don't want her getting embarrassed and have a bad time, so I decided to end the topic then and there. It's not going to be too persistent. You understand that you sound like a psychopath, George. When you're finished with your lunch, you want to take a walk on the beach? Perhaps the clouds will clear up, and we'll be able to see a picturesque sea. That's a nice idea. I'd like to do that. Okay, that's what we'll do. That looks like a really delicious cake. I wonder if I should get one like that too. You mustn't. If you eat cake after already eating so much, you'll get fat. I do like she's like, you'll get fat. Don't. Hideyoshi's blood seems to run pretty thick in you, George-sama, so you don't take care of it chubby. Damn, runs pretty thick in you, huh, George? Sorry, you'll get fat like your dad if you eat cake. Just don't. So Shannon, would you stop liking me if I got fat? I wouldn't stop liking you if you did. Uh-huh. I didn't mean it that way. I mean, if you don't take care of your body, your health will... Oh. Mother warns me all the time, too. Maybe I also need to take up the Tai Chi Chuan or something to get some exercise. Oh, is that like the martial arts she does? If you want to lose weight, it's best to start by reconsidering your eating habits instead of doing intense exercises. No. Eat how you like. Just exercise and burn it off. It's fine. It'll be fine. You okay, babe?
Yeah.
You're like... Exercise has to come on top of that, or you won't get any results, I hear. In other words, you're telling me not to eat cake, right? And I guess I'll just have to gaze at you while you stuff your cheeks with that cake, Shannon. Maybe one whole cake is too much. Maybe just half of one would be alright. Here, it's really delicious. Shannon cut her own cake and tried to move half of my salad plate. I had no doubt she wanted to share the flavor of the delicious cake with me. Even so, I deliberately and meanly pulled my plate away from her. She blinked her eyes in surprise. She couldn't seem to figure out if that was a refusal of the cake or not. So I winked open my mouth and said, "Aww." This is what you wanted from the beginning, is that it? Gosh, you're such a pampered child, George-sama. Stop being his mommy. He's like 7 years older than you. Stop going in on her boobs after I said that!
Boobs.
While still wearing an embarrassed, exasperated face, Shannon offered the cake to me with a fork. No. Chomp. Tastes like a cheap chocolate cake you can find anywhere. Still, it was exceptional. It's even cake in such an embarrassing way, as if we were the ultimate stereotypical lovey-dovey couple. It had been my dream for many years. It made this cake's flavor heavenly. If Earth's destined to be end someday, I wouldn't have any regrets if it happened right then. It was such a moment of bliss. Oh, hey. Rokenjima. After that, we gathered... Nope, not Rokenjima. Okinawa. After that, we gathered shells, ran from the waves, and enjoyed each other's company while walking along the beach. In the end, the clouds never parted. However, we both believed that our eyes were still reflecting a deep blue sea. Somehow, I'm so happy. It makes me scared. You say that from time to time. What is it you're so afraid of? I'm a servant of the Yoshiromiya family. For someone like you, for me to be here together with a member of the Yoshiromiya family, it just seems like too much for me. I'm also surprised. I didn't just meet you today or yesterday, Shannon-chan. We've known each other for years now, but we'd only ever exchanged greetings during family meetups, barely a few times per year. Never imagined we'd become close enough that I could spend time with you like this. It's the same for you too, right? Back with some more ice cream and a scone. Ooh. I did imagine. No, or rather than imagination, it was more like I was fantasizing. You're always so considerate and gentlemanly, so I wondered if we were in a relationship. I just had fantasies of what it would be like. Then our relationship happened thanks to your believing heart. Magic dwells in the power of dreaming. I'm sure that it was magic that brought us together.
Magic, baby.
George thinks he's smooth. He really just got Beatrice involved.
Yep.
You're right. I really think that it truly was magic. You know, it's not quite right. Every time we meet, I saw you more and more beautiful, and you grew to occupy a large space in my heart. The same thing happened to you, and the fact that we are here today is simply an inevitable consequence, rather than something caused by magic or a miracle. No, a miracle did happen, George summoned. She stopped at the water's edge and gazed beyond the sea. A miracle? No, magic. It happened. I was bewildered by that slightly mysterious expression which I sometimes heard her use. Magic, you said. Yes, magic. Probably won't believe me even if I say it, so I won't. But that magic definitely had the power to grant me the miracle which brought you and me together. Being like a lucky chance to make your wish come true. Perhaps. Maybe it was something like that. Except it wasn't pretend. It really was real magic. George's like, okay. Perhaps Shannon is alone when he credited the encounter on a miracle. On chance. It might be a universal thing all girls share. For a man like me, an encounter with a girl 70% is 70% effort to try to please her, 20% raw courage. That's 90%, George. And only 10% chance. Okay. But she believes to be everything carries the relative little weight within me. Maybe that way of thinking is self-calculating and typical of men. But if I were to express that in words, any kind of magic would be broken. I do think that we come this close has taken many fortuities, concessions, and great efforts from us both. We have this private time together now, only as the result of all those things put together. If she wants to call that magic, it isn't strange in the slightest. So I answered her the way I did. Yes, the same fate were repeated 100 times. You and I might have gotten into a relationship like this only once. Our distant informal connection would have continued right up until now, even as we both remain conscious of each other. In perspective of those otherworldly selves, we are undoubtedly in a miraculous relationship. Unfortunate for you, second timeline, you're together. This is proving less and less a miracle. It's not like that. It really is magic. Perhaps this is something that men will never believe, no matter however often you tell them. Kanako didn't believe me at all either. I believe you. Because I wouldn't want to break the magic by not believing in it. See, Battler, this is how you please the woman that you like. You have to believe in her magic. In a small voice, I apologize for making light of her magic. Those words seem to make Shannon a lot happier. Unfortunately, fortunately for Beatrice, for him, if he starts to believe in Beatrice, I think Beatrice is going to stop being interested in him. This is really a positive example for Badler. Not really. No, not at all. Babe, are you okay?
Huh?
Are you sleepy?
Maybe.
You haven't been responding at all.
I kind of died.
Oh, okay. We'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Let me see if we can't get to the end of the scene, because it feels like it's wrapping up pretty soon. Those words seem to make Shannon a lot happier. After all, if a pair of people believes in the magic of love, it becomes eternal. Oh, that's right. I have a request if you're willing to indulge me. Yes? What is it? You know how you called me George-sama? It's not that I dislike it, but would you not call me that anymore? Of course, you have to keep up appearances with the Yushiromiya family, so I won't force you to do this during your everyday routine at Rokenjima. But when we're alone, I'd rather you didn't call me that. Yeah, let's create that rule. A rule? What would happen if I broke it? Good point. Maybe the rule violations do need to have some kind of penalty attached. What should it be? Want to hear? No, I don't want to hear. Yeah, no, this is a weird, this is weird. I have to think about what it should be. I guess. Shannon's like 50 Shades of Grey. Oh my gosh, what an incredible literature. George, yeah, that sounds wonderful, doesn't it? I'm so happy, Shannon. I have the name Seo as well. Imagine he's like, yeah, but I don't care about that, Shannon.
He's like, wow, your other name was way better.
Yeah, right. Rules must be fair. I'll abide by that too, and from now on I'll call you Sayo. Alright? Alright, Sayo? Yes. I put my arms around her shoulder and held her close. Her delicate body pulled irresistibly towards me, and she leapt into my chest like a doll. As I held her in my arms, we looked at the horizon together. What a deep blue sea. I'm so happy we were able to see it together. Me too. Makes me very happy that I could look upon such a deep blue sea with you. As we grazed in the gray sea and the light rain began to sprinkle down, we kept listening to each other's heartbeat. Wow, so like his dad found out about this relationship and didn't immediately ask him what the hell is wrong with him, which means the narrative is treating him like a predator. Exactly.
What?
We're talking about how like George, the narrative doesn't treat George like a predator, even though he probably like would be considered one in basically anything else. Sound of the waves soak my ears. No, the sound of the raging waves. All right, we'll go ahead and save this here. Eddie is dying. Turbo Predator. All right. Well, that was a really productive session of Umineko. That was great. I'm so glad that we finally saw the witch. I'm so glad. I'm so fucking glad.
Are you sure you're glad? I don't think I caught that you were glad.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I was like, when the thing ended and it's like, oh, she's gone, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And then the tea party happened. I'm like, ah, shit, here we go. Having so much fun watching y'all stream. Good, I'm glad to hear it. I'm having a lot of fun doing them.
I'm really glad that you're showing up consistently.
Yeah, I'm glad that everyone's having a good time. I was talking about this a little bit in the collab server earlier, but I was like kind of shocked that like the Umineko streams are going so well. Like we've regularly had like 7, 8, 9, 10 people like showing up for these, which is like quite a bit more than usual actually. When I was like really I was really convinced that we were going to be sitting on like 2 or 3 people like every single time, and like because it's a visual novel, right? Like it's not quite as exciting. Yeah, and it's hard to catch up because you got to go through everything. And like I was fine with that. I was perfectly willing to be like, yeah, that's fine, because this is something that I wanted to do for a while, and I know it's something Eddie's wanted to do for a while, and like I don't really care that much about viewership. Like it's nice to see that people are coming out and having a good time or whatever, but no, I'm glad to see that people have been enjoying it, and I've certainly been enjoying it very well myself. I might do a little bit more Yakuza between now and the next Umineko stream, depending on how I'm feeling. Just because I feel like this is a good chance to, like, break for a little bit. Yeah. Because we're out of, like, the really intense situation that was been set up by the first episode.
We can switch back.
Yeah. And, like, it's not, like, and this isn't, like, I felt, like, pressured by it, but it's just that, like, I've been so excited to go back to Umineko every time because the situation is so intense. That, like, I was like, do I want to... Should I do Yakuza? Yeah, probably. But, like, do I want to do that over Umineko? And I'm like, no. So we might be swapping back a little bit now that we hit, like, a good break point. Yeah. Also, it's nice to see that we made, like a legitimate marker of progress. Like, I'm sure the other episodes are going to be, like, longer and have more shit going on in them. But it is nice to see that, like, hey... There is, like, a progress marker. This part of the game is done.
Yep. Feels good. Feels good.
It does. Anyways, it doesn't seem like there's anyone to raid. So we're going to go ahead and call it here. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Hope to see you guys next time. And until then, have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.